Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Water Pollution Control Authority and Town Council meeting of North Branford, Connecticut on Tuesday, February 17th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. Please join me in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
Amen.
Okay. Roll call.
Mayor Angeloni,
Here.
Counselor Diamond,
Here.
Counselor Goad,
Here.
Counselor Mace,
Here.
Counselor Miller,
Here.
Counselor Policia,
Here.
Counselor Whitworth,
Here.
and Counselor Zampano.
Here.
And Deputy Mayor McMillan is online. He's joining us via Zoom tonight.
All right.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the January 20th, 2026 WPCA and Town Council?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Motion was made by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Counselor Zampano. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay. So I am going to come around. Right now, we have two proclamations. The first proclamation is for Rare Disease Day, and I am going to call up Sam, Allie, and Lindsay, who are all residents of North Branford. Sorry, that's okay. Doesn't matter, wherever you want to put them. Okay. Ally. And we have one other person who could not be here tonight. Her name is Noelle Altman, but her mom is here tonight to represent Noelle. So I am going to read this proclamation here. This is from the town of North Branford, the proclamation for National Rare Disease Day. Whereas there are approximately 7,000 rare diseases and conditions, each affecting fewer than 200,000 Americans in the United States, according to the National Institute of Health. Whereas while each of these diseases may affect small numbers of people, rare diseases as a group affect an estimated 25 to 30 million Americans. Whereas many rare diseases are serious and debilitating conditions that have a significant impact on the lives of those affected. Whereas while more than 720 drugs and biologics have been approved for the treatment of over 1,000 rare diseases, according to the Food and Drug Administration, 90% of rare diseases do not have an FDA-approved treatment. Whereas individuals and families affected by rare diseases often experience problems such as delays in obtaining an accurate diagnosis, difficulty finding a healthcare provider with expertise in their condition, and a lack of access to treatments or ancillary services. Whereas residents of Connecticut are among those affected by rare diseases because nearly 1 in 10 Americans have rare diseases. Whereas the National Organization for Rare Disorders is organizing a nationwide observance of Rare Disease Day on February 28, 2026. Therefore, be it resolved that February 28, 2026 will be observed as Rare Disease Day in North Branford, Connecticut, dated the 17th day of February and authorized by my signature, Mayor Rosie Angeloni, and members of the Town Council. So on behalf I would just like to say that I have known Sam, Allie, and Lindsay for many years. I know Noelle's family a little bit from my time when I worked at Tucket Valley and older siblings. And this truly affects not only these people, but they also affect their whole families. And their families have given tremendous support and have dedicated their lives for their children. And it is an honor for me to present this proclamation to all of you. So if the family would like to come up, you are more than welcome. We will take some photos.
This is great. It's all good.
Get us all? Okay. Thank you so much. We did one for the whole thing, that, because I know it was going up, because they requested the same thing, and you're going up to the state with it. Yep.
Okay, thank you
More
very
than
much.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome, and thank you for the cookies.
You're welcome.
Thank you
Take
very
you to the meeting.
And we have one other proclamation here. And this was at the request of BH Care. This is for all of us who did not know, this is Problem Gambling Awareness Month. So whereas the National Council on Problem Gambling and the town of North Branford have designated March 2026 as Problem Gambling Awareness Month. And whereas problem gambling is a public health issue affecting millions of Americans of all ages, race, and ethnic backgrounds. And whereas problem gambling has a significant societal and economic cost for individuals, families, businesses, and communities. And problem gambling is treatable, and treatment is effective in minimizing this harm to both individuals and society as a whole. And numerous individuals, professionals, and organizations have dedicated their efforts to the education of the public about problem gambling and the availability and effectiveness of treatment. And whereas the National Council on Problem Gambling invite all residents of the town of North Branford to participate in Problem Gambling Awareness Month. Now therefore, let it be known, the entire town council, on behalf of the residents of this town, hereby proclaim the month of March 2026 as Problem Gambling Awareness Month, dated this 17th day of February 2026, and authorized by my signature, Mayor Rose Angeloni. So we will get that to them. Okay, moving on. Water Pollution Control Authority agenda. There's no, any correspondence or citizen statements regarding WPCA. No unfinished business, no new business. On to the regular town council meeting. First agenda item is community events and presentations. Michelle Loso from Seward and Monday is here to present the June 30th, 2025 audit for the town of North Branford.
Good evening, thank you. Good evening, thank you. All the brief presentation, and obviously if anybody has any questions or follow-ups on the audit report that was given to you earlier, I think last week, please don't hesitate to ask your questions. Again, a little bit earlier than last year, a much better year in the audit process. We still encountered a delayed start on our final procedures, which was around late November, right before Thanksgiving. We were given the okay, set that the numbers were good to pull from the Munis system. We had completed a significant amount of preliminary work throughout the summer. This year was also another challenge regarding the implementation of GASB 101 regarding compensated absences. that affected both the town and the Board of Education. It required recording a liability for accumulated unused leave that is more likely than not to be paid or used as time off. It really affected only the government-wide financial statements, and it did result in a restatement of beginning net assets of a reduction of $438,000. It is just an estimate, basically based on accrued vacation and sick time at year end. On the audit, it was an unmodified, clean opinion on the government activities, the business type activities, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information. We did still continue to report the material weakness over financial reporting due to the financial close and bank reconciliation process. As we were auditing the year ended June 30th, 25, that had not been resolved at that point in time. So we had to continue to report that for this audit period. It has been resolved since subsequent to that through the bank reconciliation process and the financial reporting process. So assuming everything stays status quo, that will not be a finding for the 6/30/26 audit. We did perform a federal and state single audit again this year. The federal single audit, the town expended $3.6 million in federal assistance, primarily $1.2 million for the coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery fund, $1 million for the emergency operations center, and about $1 million for various education programs. The winding down of COVID relief funding, so we should see much less funding going forward into fiscal 26. Again, state and federal compliance, no material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies, or reportable compliance findings. Bonded debt, including direct finance leases, increased about $12.5 million. That was due to the permanent financing of about 16 million for both the high school and the police station projects, excuse me. The general fund balance stood at 11.6 million, an increase of about 388,000 from the prior year. Represents about 17.9% of the 25-26 budget, with your target at about 15%. That did come down slightly from the prior year. General fund unassigned fund balance stood at $9.3 million, which represents 14.35% of your 25-26 budget, where your target on that percentage is 10%. On the budget side, revenues were 1.27 million over budget, primarily for property taxes and investment earnings. Expenditures overall were under budget by $549,000. This eliminated overall both the budgetary revenue, eliminated the need to use the $1.1 million allocated from prior year fund balance. If anybody, I'll open it to questions, comments.
Okay, so I have a number of questions
Yep.
for you. Okay, so I know, so there is a copy of the audit in our packet here. It was sent to us a week ago. This is just hard copy. So I'll just go through. So on page 17, there's a statement of activities. And on here, it has the government activities and it lists the different departments.
Yes.
And for education, the number here is 37,335,000, which is more than their budgeted amount.
This encompasses all funds. It's not just their main general fund budget number.
So it's not just our budgeted
No,
number.
it's their cafeteria, it's their student activities, it's their grant fund. Anything Board of Education related is on the full accrual statements, which are on 16 and 17.
Okay, that's what I wanted to
Yeah.
know, is why it was different than and then under on that same page, under program revenues, there's a column that says charge for services. What would that encompass?
It could be a variety of things. It's ambulance billing, it's town clerk fees, it's police fees, it's student activity fees, it's any kind of licenses, permits, things you charge for all of your funds, not just general, again, not just general fund.
Okay. All right, because I was just looking because education had, a large amount, it's $1.3 million.
Well, that's going to be also any student activity fees that run through their student activity accounts. It's the Family Resource Center fees.
Oh.
It's also cafeteria fees, the charges for
Oh,
the
okay.
cafeteria program. So it's
Okay.
all of that combined.
Okay, so when you're auditing both the town side and the Board of Ed side, on the Board of Ed side, do you audit like the cafeteria and the Family Resource Center?
Well, yes and no. So we're required to audit, for the most part, the major funds. Not that we don't look and review bank reconciliations, trending for some of those programs. We definitely audit the grant revenue and expenditures because we have to audit that for compliance as well.
Okay,
That-
yep,
Okay.
okay. And investment earnings, does that investment earnings include all of the pension accounts?
No, that's the only thing that's not in this government-wide statement are any fiduciary funds. The OPEB fund and the pension funds are excluded from these two statements. They have separate statements.
Okay, so how is the investment earnings? I mean, so it's taken in as income, is it offset with anything? I mean, like, if it's coming from, my guess is we're investing in short-term CDs and that type
Yeah,
of
there's a
thing?
variety of vehicles that the funds are invested in. This also encompasses, the library has funds. So if they have some of their funds invested, this statement encompasses every fund of the town other than pension and OPEB funds. So it
Okay.
consolidates everything.
So those investment earnings, do they go to the specific fund that they're?
Correct, that is earning it, correct.
Is earning it? So, okay,
So in the details, as you drill down, you'll see each fund has some investment earnings.
okay. Okay, on page 24 is the sewer. And I know every fall, like usually in September, we have a meeting and then we have to set the sewer fee for the next year because sewer is October
Yep.
and April. So according to this report, we lost money in our sewer things. So that kind of tells me that our fees aren't high enough
Well,
on here, or is this? or is
Again,
it-
yes and no. You also record depreciation on this statement. So again, it's a non-cash type of item. So you're losing money because of depreciation expense, which is about the middle of the page.
I saw that, but
241.
depreciation is less than the loss, so we're still losing money.
No, your loss is 168, the depreciation is 241.
Well, operating loss is 322,000.
Correct.
So if I
Oh,
if
so
I
you take
go
it without
up,
the transfer, yes.
yes, if I go
Correct.
up above the line to operating. So I guess this is something we need to take a little closer look at the next time sewer comes up, because I know we've held our sewer fees. And I'm assuming that we have a carryover. I mean, that's what absorbs the loss.
Correct.
On there.
Correct. You have a net position, well, again, some of that is your investment in the fixed assets of that.
Okay. All right. And then on page 40, this is just something, this is on page 40 under note 2, the first bulleted item. This just needs to be changed because on the first Monday in May, the town council submits to the annual meeting that we have the budget referendum, which is the second Tuesday of the month of May.
Oh.
It used to be that we had the annual meeting but we haven't had that for a long time. So the referendum is the second Tuesday of May. Okay. On page 49 and 50 is where we talk about the bonding on here. So on page 50, there's 2 columns, one GOB and one is GORB. The RB is refunding, so is that, we refinanced the bonds? Is that what
Yes.
that is?
Previous bonds had been refunded, correct.
Okay, so the first 2 items on this list, is that the remaining balance
Correct.
of those refunded items? And they both,
Those are the balances of those refunding bonds.
correct?
Correct.
Correct, and those are the 2 that they'll be fully paid in 2027,
Correct.
according to that, so, which is approximately $4 million on here. So we're making progress on our debt service by these 2 coming off. Of course, everything below the line there is much higher because it's all of our big projects after that. But there is progress being made. On page 51, on its bonds, it's the authorized and unissued bonds, it's like the middle of the page there. So the first column is were all of our bond resolutions and what we authorized. So evidently, the top 3 items are the most recent ones. I guess the one that isn't on here and I don't know why it's not on here, why is communications not on here?
I was wondering myself.
Because we bonded for communications.
But it might be all bonded already. There's still nothing outstanding, authorized and unissued. And I'll double check that, but
Okay,
if it's already
So-
been authorized and the bonds are issued, it's not gonna hit this schedule.
okay. So on the authorized and unissued in the far right corner for the new police station, the 4.45, my guess is this is the money we got from the state?
Right, because you had to authorize the full amount. In
Correct.
case the grant money didn't come in. So what's reflected there is the amount, that's the $4 million from the state and the $1 million for the.
Well, the state was 4.5 million.
Right.
On there, okay. Did we get that money from the state?
I believe so, yes.
And the same with
$1
the,
million, yeah.
how much?
$1 million for the EOC?
No, the 4.5.
Yeah.
From
In
the state.
25, 26 though, correct? I
Uh,
don't remember you getting that.
Not sure.
And the 1.6 million for the Stanley T roof project, because that was from the state also.
I'll check on both those.
Okay,
Yeah, I was gonna say, it might be a timing issue of when they came in.
so once we get the money, then that number goes away from that column, because it's not
It would be the other reduction, it would get into.
under the grant and other reductions?
Yep. So we'll check those two.
Okay. And on the North Branford High School gym roof, this was the old high school that we put the roof on, but then we tore the building down in a shorter period of time. So are they disallowing roughly $195,000 out of what was authorized? Is
No,
that
I
what
think
that
that
means?
was that's actually a grant for that project.
Oh, okay. Because I know there was question when we built the new high school as to whether we would have to pay back any of the,
Old
of that one for the high school, on there. And what is community and senior center relocation for 293,000? Do you,
That probably goes back to when we moved from 1599.
so we bonded to move? Is that what that means?
Check. I don't think we bonded.
Well, did you authorize a bond?
Because it
'Cause
says
I think
total
that's in-
authorized and,
I think that's in the most recent OS, that's why that was in there, but we can check.
okay,
We'll check all those.
okay. And then my last thing is on, page 58, it's the pensions. And it's just a statement in regards to this. I'm on the pension committee, so, you know, I'm familiar with our pension liability. And as you can see, the good thing is that our funding is going up on each of these pension accounts. So it's the defined benefit plan. That's what we're talking about here, not the defined contribution. This is defined benefit. So that we have 3 plans, the town plan, the police plan, and then the volunteer, which is fire department. So we've been reviewing this in pension committee. I am happy to see that the police plan is at like 70% now, which is great. The town plan is at 60, the fire department is at 58%, and stuff. But just to make a note for the public to understand, we are very well aware that we are underfunded on our pension plans, as are most towns in the state of Connecticut. Our actuary has been working on this. The plans are designed so that as we pay in, this amount will continue to go up and we'll get there. But as of right now, we have about $10 million that we owe to our pension plans. And we do take care of this every year based on the figure that they give us, but this is a debt that the town still has to pay on our pension liability plan. And we are doing that, and we're, whatever amount the actuary gives us each year, we do not skimp on, we pay it. And we actually, last year, we directed the police department, because their pension account is a moving target, only because they have both plans, the defined benefit and defined contribution. So the chief does a great job in trying to estimate what his pension contributions will be based on overtime and who's working the shifts. But we've now set in place that if there's any money left over at the end of the year, that money does not get spent on anything else. We take that overage and we pay it into the pension fund. As you see, we owe, several $1 million into the police pension fund. So that definitely will help us as we move forward on there. So those are my questions. I don't know if anyone else had questions.
I just have one question. On page 59, is that, those rates of return, is that something that you were provided, or is that something that you?
That comes out of the actuarial reports and funding.
Seems like it should be a little better than that.
Well, you got to remember, the town's pension plans are at a much more conservative level than what your personal plans would be at, because we are the fiduciary for those plans, so we cannot do risky investments. And there is a policy that the pension committee has as far as investments. And actually, there is a chart.
So we will be getting the investment policy statements soon. We're gonna meet tomorrow, I'm gonna request that to get updated, and we'll send that, pass that out to the confidential staff as well. But you're absolutely correct. It's a more conservative approach for a long-term approach
But-
versus utilizing more equity-based investments in a natural individual retirement plan. Different than institutional.
Yeah, there is a chart in here, let me see.
On
one, 'cause I-
57 is your, basically your policy, of your target allocation.
Well, that's the target allocation, but there was a chart in here that showed over the last 10 years what we've earned on the pensions, and the last 3 years, we have been like 11-12% in the pension funds. Oh, here it is. It's on page 85. So if you look on page 85, it will show you what the earnings have been on each one of the plans on there. So we have done much better. 22 was the year everyone's 401k took a dive. But as you will see, they're doing much better than they were. And we also did change companies. And we went from the single digits to the double digits. Yeah. So,
That's a huge difference.
what of,
The change from 20 to 21, is that when we changed from 20 to 21?
no, we changed back when it goes from the single digits.
22 was the market.
22 was the market, yeah. But when we actually changed companies, it was in the, the era of 17, 18, 19.
Yeah, I remember when we were looking at these numbers of .18.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a
and-
big deal back then.
Right, yes.
Okay.
So they actually have been doing better, and which, when the numbers are like this, and, when they do the actuarial studies that they give us and their predictions, and they're predicting a much lower base, they're at like 6.5
Yep.
or whatever, that definitely also helps us when we have these years to get us more towards, it adds in so that we have a higher percentage rate of
Right. I
funding.
mean, with any of the pension plans with a defined benefit, with these three, you have to realize your plans are closed. There's no new participants going in there. So, obviously the participant level will come down. They'll just move to retiree status. And again, the actuarial assumptions can sway the numbers significantly one way or another. The more conservative you are, the higher the liability potentially, as well as the market. I mean, the value on 630 is what's always used. So on 7/1, if it goes up or down significantly, so will your liability.
So,
But being aware of it and talking to your investment advisors and actuarial people are the exact most positive thing you need to continue to do.
Okay, does anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, could you explain on page 94, is that what was budgeted, approved for that particular department and for the Board of Ed? Does that mean that the board has 669,000 left over at the end of the year? Is that what it
Yes,
means?
Yes.
but
Okay, I just want to
also.
make sure I understood that.
But also that the 2% transfer is in the line above. So you'll see the negative 524, which includes part of their 2% transfer.
Yeah, so they're moving that over into their 2% fund.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understood that.
Yep,
Yep.
yep. Okay, any other questions? All right, well, thank you, Michelle. This was very informative. Glad we got it in a more timely fashion. Excuse me? No.
I just want
No,
to,
what is the next step? I need to talk on my behalf.
Yeah, it's not time. When
I will let you know.
I will let you know,
Yeah,
yes.
because I thought you were asking any questions.
It's for the board here for our presenter right now.
Okay, but I am talking to the
Yep,
board
yep.
about
When it went under
education and
under
stuff like
public
that.
comments, when we get to that
Yes, I
point.
do understand that. I do know the law.
Yeah, so when we get to that point, we'll
Yes,
ask.
and I do have to represent myself.
That's fine.
Thank you. I got permission for Attorney Enrico Carstron.
Okay, so we're going on with our meeting,
All
so,
right, thank you.
all right.
so I will address those few questions that you have through Anthony tomorrow morning, and
Okay.
then we'll make sure we have all the edits that we talked about.
Okay.
Done as well.
Great.
And then we'll submit to the state and the feds.
All right, thank you so much.
Great, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Your mind is Michelle, that's why I got it.
Okay, so we have a public hearing. So it is, it's a notice of a public hearing. It's for proposed ordinance number 2026-01 entitled Blight Ordinance Revisions. And Marie, could you,
What was that? And
there should be something right
inside?
If it's not, you can have this one.
Okay.
You got it?
Notice of public hearing. The North Branford Town Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, February 17th, 2026 at 7 PM in the North Branford Town Hall Council Chambers. The purpose of the public hearing will be to hear comments on proposed ordinance 2026-1, which amends chapter 120 of the Code of North Branford entitled Blight, as summarized below. The proposed revisions to the blight ordinance add the following new language. Upon application to the town council, after hearing and for cause shown, may reduce or abate civil penalties and costs imposed hereunder. A copy of the proposed ordinance is on file in the office of the town clerk and posted on the town website. Dated at North Branford, Connecticut, this 27th day of January 2026. Lisa A. Valenti, MMC, North Branford Town Clerk. Email public comments to public-comments at Town of North Branford, ct.com. Publication date February 12, 2026 in the Sound.
Okay, so it is 7:07. We will open up the public hearing at this time. And let me just- So there, any comments from the public in regards to the blight ordinance change? Any comments, public comments?
Anybody can speak
Hearing-
now? Am I
Just in regards to the public hearing on the blight ordinance.
That's okay. I got a
Okay.
degree in public speaking.
Okay, so seeing that there are no public comments, the public hearing will be closed at 7:08. Moving on to reports of committees, boards, and commissions. First one is economic development.
I have nothing to report. They did meet on February 2nd, and the next meeting will be March 2nd, but the restaurant month has started, and for sure the acting manager will give a report on that later.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Park and Recreation, their meeting is next Tuesday. Police Commission.
We were not
We-
able
we
to
didn't
attend
attend the
because of the
meeting.
long
Okay.
executive session.
Okay. No problem. Fire Commission.
The Fire Commission met on February 5th. I have nothing to report except they did go over a lot of needs that they're gonna have for replacement of equipment, so that's gonna be coming to our plate soon. And there'll be, the next meeting will be March 5th.
Okay. Planning and zoning.
Meeting Thursday.
Okay. Finance Subcommittee, we met last week. There are a number of items on our agenda tonight. In fact, there's probably 3 or 4 of the items are on our agenda. They are busy into budget season. At this time, the town manager, interim town manager, is collecting all of the department budgets and putting them through. This year, we will be doing, the budget is done through Munis, which is a change for everyone. There will be a little tutorial tonight for council members to see if you guys, who wants paper and who wants to do electronic copy during budget season. So that's coming up in the agenda later. So our next meeting is scheduled for March. That may get canceled just due to our budget workshops, but we'll keep everyone posted on that. Public Safety Communications Subcommittee.
The committee met on February 11th, but since the meeting, there have been some additional events that I really want to talk about. I'm kind of at the end of my rope on this, and I hope you'll give me some time here to listen to the problem. This town invested over $500K on a new radio system. We have terrific volunteers. We have firemen. I watched something happen this morning within my own community, how quickly they come, how quickly they're responsive, how they help people. I am upset right now about what's happening. First of all, the same thing happens at every meeting. We talk about the pagers. The pagers don't work. We have people on the commission, or the committee, who want to just take those pagers. I've said this before, but it really came out very strongly this last meeting. Throw them all in a box and send them back. Those pagers have been nothing but a headache since the day we purchased them. Now I get notification last night, as of last night, firemen are told to suspend the use of the repeaters. Now, we have repeaters in the trucks, now we can't use them because they're not working. Repeaters are there to improve safety, liability, to monitor what's happening, and now we're being told we can't use them right now. We have a pause. I have to say that because of the problems we're having, people are stepping forward. First of all, I have to give a lot of kudos to the police chief. He took it upon himself to get information so we could change our 8-channel card that they need to a 16-channel card. That's an analog. We're supposed to be in digital, but he looked for a reason to help us, something that would hopefully promote safety, and he had to do that. I have to say, at this point, my big request, and I know the fire chief is here, and some of the fire commission members, I am going to ask very kindly that this council approve the Public Safety Committee finding, and I know it's not going to be an easy thing to do, but I think we need an independent person to come to North Branford to see what's happening with our public safety issues and to give us some advice. I think it's very sad that we have spent so much money and it's just not working. And this is a life safety issue. We don't want something to happen. I know that some of the commissioners that are here are very concerned. I think it's a very sad state of affairs that we had to be told last night. Pause, don't use the repeaters in the trucks. This town has spent a lot of money, and unfortunately, the person who designed the system is no longer with us. So we can't go back to this person and say, hey, what the heck did you do? I firmly believe, after listening to the folks at the meeting, and our acting town manager was there too, it's very frustrating. I respectfully request that the town council give us the authority, and I know it's not going to be easy to find somebody, But I will help find that person. We need an independent person to come in and evaluate our system right now. I feel,
I have a question.
I feel very concerned about it.
Marie, you putting this to a motion?
Well,
I don't know the difference between a request and a motion. What is she doing? That's all.
well, at this point in time, I mean, I think we just need, because if we get an independent person, we have no idea at this point, like, what the cost is.
Well, that's
or
why I
what-
would do some investigating and come
Yeah.
back to you. I just want the permission right now to look for that person.
Well, I guess I would defer to the town attorney first here to see, do we have any recourse at all? I mean, it's not 500,000 that we spent on this communication system, it's $5 million that we.
Oh, I'm sorry. I-
Yes, yeah, it's $5 million.
I am so upset that.
I know. You had the right number, just the wrong number of zeros.
I'm not a math major.
So, just, I don't know what our recourse is.
Yeah, without saying too much publicly, rather than
Yep.
in an executive session, this is a matter, that we were brought into. Last year, we went to a number of meetings.
Yes,
And
you
it
did
sounded
come
like
and
we
help.
had a solution,
But
the
it-
town had a
it's a lot of-
solution at that time. Things were working, different protocols were established, and we were all, I think, very optimistic that, at least for the radios, we finally had something that was working. And it's a little shocked and unfortunate that within the last week, the system failed again. And communications could not happen between some of the commanders and some of the firefighters, which I agree is a huge safety issue that shouldn't be happening. And the question is why? What is it, why is it not working? Is it the design, the initial design? There's a lot of anecdotal back and forth as to whether this is the right system, whether it wasn't, why it's not working, will it work, what needs to be done. I would agree. I think that having someone independent look at it is probably something wise to do. And we can commission it through us if you want to, have it protected by an attorney-client privilege. Once you come up with that individual or that entity, try to see why is your system failing.
Well, because it's our understanding that this same system other towns use, correct?
Actually, the town we would look at would be Trumbull. They have the system like that.
And they use it successfully, I understand. Other towns, but not the.
I don't know, Anthony called them to see if we could find somebody to help. I don't know if he got anywhere.
The only response I got from the gentleman that I texted that day was that he was gonna put me in touch with somebody else that was more versed on it, and I have not heard back from that person yet.
I don't see the harm in looking for somebody at this point in time as an independent. We could either do it through Marie's motion or through a motion that we have council do something on our behalf. But I agree with Marie in this sense that it affects, 15,000 people in this town, that may need it at some point in time. And the failure could cost somebody their life. So we should do something tonight, I agree.
Something's gotta be done.
Yeah, it's just,
Something's gotta be done.
I used to be on that committee, and I think it's long overdue, quite honestly. I think as soon as those failures started to mount up, action should have been taken. I had asked, I forget what meeting that was, it might have been like a year ago, was it a good idea to just scrap the whole thing and start all over? And I was assured that, no, that would be more troublesome than just trying to follow through with the fixes. Now, town attorney shaking his head, he was there, he remembers. And I think at some point you just have to start over because they've tried. Anthony, how many fixes have they tried?
More than you can count.
And it's like, enough's enough.
I just add 2 cents in there, I mean,
you can come up. You
I'm
wanna just-
Ed Prunier,
just-
I'm
yeah.
chairman of the fire commission. I'd just like to say, I know there's a couple of new guys here. I don't know if you know what's been going on since forever. We have nowhere to turn. It was asked the other night, as Marie said, the person that designed the system is deceased. He passed away. So the big question is, who could we turn to that could help us, guide us out of this hole? We can't come up with anybody. There's nobody that's willing to take the reins and say, we'll help you. You know, who works for the state don't want to get involved, who works for Norcom don't want to get involved, who works for Motorola doesn't want to get involved with the town of North Branford. You know, somebody designed the system, you know, and now they're telling us, I mean, you know, the 500,000 that Marie, that's what it cost us for the repeaters. Now they're telling us we can't use them. So that's $500,000 we threw away. You know, we should have never had them. They should have never been installed. So, I mean, nobody's actually taken the blame here. And the attorney was at the meeting in June, or when we gave them until June, they promised us that they would fix the whole radio system by June. You were there. We gave them until July. We gave them an extra 3 weeks. They argued, we don't need it. It'll be done by June. It'll be done by June. We'll give you till July, please. July 1st, we want the radio system to work. That's 8 months ago. The radio system is as bad today as it was in June, as it was when they installed it.
So
Everything that they said that they fixed, they rebooted, doesn't work.
What are they saying to us? What is their answer to us?
They don't, nobody has an answer. I mean, we meet and we talk about it, and there's nobody we could turn to. I mean, you know, we would have a guy in a Zoom meeting and he'd say, well, you know, I think, everybody thinks it's this, they think it's that, you know, stop using, I mean, Rich, you could help me out here a little bit if you want. Stop using your, you know, your 800 band, go back to where we were. So if we're gonna go back to where we were, give us all our money back. Give us our old radios back, and we'll go back to where we were. You know, make us go, we gave you $5.5 million. You want us to go back to where we were, give us our money back,
That's
and we'll
the
go
question.
back.
Thank you, and I think Rose alluded to that there with council. Do we have recourse? Is there a breach of a contract there? Is there a breach of something that we can go after whoever installed this here, or whatever company is monitoring it? Is there any chance of that?
Potentially. The question is, why is it not working? What is the problem here? Because they did some changes, and it was working apparently after this summer, after we went through this exercise last summer of bringing in corporate folks from Motorola, writing to them at their headquarters out in Chicago, as I recall, their legal department, and getting folks out here to do something. It seemed as though it was working. Once we got everything,
Well,
it was working.
yeah, they
until-
rebooted the pagers. The pagers.
Not the pages, I'm talking about the radios in the trucks when you arrive and fire ground, and which truck went into the repeating mode, which became the control truck, if you will.
Right.
Just so everyone would have that. And that is my understanding, that seemed to be working until this incident we just had, where it stopped working.
Well, I mean, there was a couple of glitches along the way. It wasn't
pristine. It was working, but not.
It was working,
It wasn't
not
working
pristine, but it was-
the way it was supposed to work.
It was working in a manner that the guys were safe.
Yeah,
the
but
ladies were
everything
safe.
was, well, we could do
Firefighters.
this to make it work, and we could, which we shouldn't have to. I mean, you know, we're pulling up on fire scene now, and we're going to the old style radio system because we knew it worked, but we have a brand new radio system in our truck that we gotta keep kicking off to go back to the old style when we're at a fire scene.
Is there anyone that knows how it's supposed to work?
Well, I mean, there is towns, like we said, you know,
No, I
Trumbull-
mean, do we have anyone in our
No.
network? Okay.
No.
And then, because then we need to identify, if we know how it's supposed to work, what's not, of course, what's not working, right? So we need to find someone definitely independent that can,
That's exactly what I'm saying. Somebody, and I
Look
will
at
help
it and
search for that
report back.
person.
but I don't know, you know, I certainly wouldn't know where to look for that person, but there must be someone out there that has that
That's the
knowledge.
problem. We don't know what avenue, you know, who do we talk to find a person like that? You know, everybody we talk to is either from the state or from Motorola or from,
Well,
they're
they
not
said
giving
somebody-
you.
They said Trumbull's working, why can't we contact Trumbull to see how?
Well, we
their
were
system
willing
works?
to even take our truck up, we
Yeah,
offered to take our truck up and, you know, put it side by side and say, what do you have on your truck that we don't have? Or what do we have extra that? We were gonna sit them side by side and say, you know, and everybody seems to lean towards,
Is it one truck?
no, it's all of them.
So, they're all set up the
Yeah,
same way?
they're all
I'm
set up the
just-
same way.
I don't have that knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, believe me, for me to tell you, I know everything about radios, I know your key to mic is supposed to work, that's all. You know, but now sitting in this meetings and it's not working. You know, so, I mean, like I said, just the money that we spent, and we're at a roadblock really, because we don't know who to talk to. I mean, nobody's giving us any information to say, well, you guys gotta go to this person, or call this person, or call.
But I'm willing to work with a chief to look for somebody. I think we need an independent person.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you want to make a motion.
Is it, could it also be, Ed, a training issue, or?
No.
No, okay.
No, it's
Just
definitely not.
Throwing that, I'm just
Because
making sure, 'cause-
they come down with their computers and they sit in the truck and
Yeah.
they do whatever they gotta do, and they're taking our pagers and they're doing whatever they have to do, and,
Then when they leave, it goes back
and
to
it's,
the old.
and in the end, it might last 2 weeks, all right, the radio said, but they take the pagers, the last time they rebooted them, oh, it'll never happen again. I mean, it happened 2 weeks later. 7 pagers went out. And now it's, I don't even know how many it is now. They're just
I was in a
rebooting
meeting
them.
with Rory today, my pager rebooted.
Yeah, and it wasn't supposed to happen after the last they promised us, oh, no, this is it. This is the final update, blah, 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 blah.
Brian, do you have any, in your network, any contacts with Trumbull?
Oh, yeah, we represent Trumbull in some matters, so yes.
Well,
Maybe
here we
We can
go.
reach out to them
Yeah.
and talk to
Okay.
them and try to figure, there's 2 separate issues, Mr. Mace, just so you know, it's radios on the trucks and the handhelds versus the pager devices, I guess we call pagers, which individual firefighters have to get summoned to a fire. To let them know when there's a fire they have to go respond to. There's 2 separate issues that have been going on here, kind of interchange. Separate, but both fire department related.
Related.
And as it relates to the radios in the truck, there's actually 2 pieces. There's the state system
Right.
is our dispatch channel. That's working fine. It's when we go into the fireground mode and try to talk on fireground, that's where we experience the problem that we can't communicate from me to you. The chief was there at that, we had a fire on Super Bowl night. And it's very frustrating when you're trying to give orders and you push the mic and you get, won't let you talk. Or you get the bonk tone that it won't let you talk. So it's kind of like, firefighter safety, as Maria had mentioned, if someone was trying to do something, serious or dangerous and try to get out and they couldn't get out, it could be a situation. So, but don't confuse, the entire radio system, the dispatch piece of it is working. That's the state system. The fireground is basically, it's actually the police, old police UHF channels that we're using for fireground. And that's where we have constant problems. And again, it was working fine until Super Bowl Sunday, then it was terrible.
That's what's frustrating. They spent a lot of time getting it working, so when the firemen arrive on a scene, it's my understanding, instead of going back and forth through a headquarters location to relay all these communications, the first fire apparatus that pulls up becomes the home, if you will, or for lack of a better word, the home base for every other fire truck and every firefighter with their radio. So if I want to talk to Anthony, there's things repeating around so everyone can communicate nicely in a little group. And not everyone has this system. That's the other thing. You have towns around us that don't have the same system for the fire ground, which is a little different. So it's an advanced system that they finally got working, but apparently now it's failed again after all this. The firemen get there, they get the dispatch, then that's where the problem kicks in when I want to talk to Anthony or the guy inside the building or the guy out by the water, pumper or the tanker. That's where the system.
Yeah, but if a fireman is inside the building, he can't get out, and he's trying to
That's why this is so
contact
important to
somebody
have a
where he is,
system that works
location for
correctly.
help.
Correct.
It's not working, so that fireman is in danger, or if there's a person in there, the fireman's trying to get out and he needs help, or she needs help.
Correct.
So we have to do something.
That's
We have to do something.
Yeah, so, Marie, give
I would
them.
like-
I'll coordinate with Marie and as Marie and I talk and, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Okay.
she was just
That
about to
we
make a motion.
investigate having an independent person evaluate our system, our public safety system.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you. And, all right,
And report back at the next month's meeting, please,
well, I don't,
if they can find somebody.
yeah, I mean, they'll start working on it. I don't know if they'll have answers for but they can
But this
start working.
it'll be a priority.
Right.
It'll be a priority.
Thanks.
Sure.
One thing I wanted to say, it's definitely discouraging to all of us, and so everybody out there that maybe this is news to, or new council members in the past couple of years. This is my 7th year on the council. In my first year on the council, I went to a police meeting, my first meeting, my first year, and that's when Bill Stewart was the chief, and he was speaking about how they had problems with the radios, and how bad the radios, how they couldn't communicate, we have to get a whole new system. This is 7 years ago. And I sat over there, and like my first year in, I will say I was a rookie, I came in, I spoke up and said, I don't want to spend another dollar in the town until we get this straightened out. That was 7 years ago.
Well, we spent the money.
We spent $5 million and we're back to square one. That is
No, we're worse now than we were square one.
I just got his
unbelievable.
contact name of the person to call. Deputy Chief Rob Murphy. in Trumbull.
Okay, so
It's not
the,
like we haven't tried.
so the motion is on the floor, and second was made by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Counselor Mace. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next committee report is inland wetlands.
There was a meeting.
Okay. And then blueprint committee.
We had no meeting, we didn't have enough attendees last month, so.
Okay. All right, town managers report.
Good evening. The town has an ongoing code enforcement action taking place at 267 Branford Road. There were notices of violations dating back to last year that resulted from complaints by tenants at that property. Town staff were working with the property owner to get the violations remediated, and then 2 weeks ago during the cold snap, a pipe burst and caused significant damage. As a result, the structure was deemed uninhabitable until the resulting violations were remediated, and the residents were temporarily relocated. The town staff continues to work with the property owner to remediate the violations and to get the residents back into the property as quickly as possible.
Are all residents displaced or just certain apartments in that building?
As I understand it, some of the damage involved the electrical system, and obviously with the pipe that burst, the water in the property was compromised, so I believe the entire property was uninhabitable.
Okay.
Sorry. I believe it's located in a specific building. I think there's maybe 2 or 3 buildings
That's
on there. And it's a specific building, and it's several units within that building, not the whole, not all.
Okay.
Units. So yes, there's still apartments there that are viable.
Okay, thank you.
The Public Works Director provided a budget update for the Finance Subcommittee following the large snowstorm that occurred on January 24th. And so with numbers as of January 28th, the salt budget is at 110,000 out of 160. The brine budget, so there's a separate budget for the liquid brine that they dispense on the roadways, is at 15,000 of 17,000. The contractors from that one storm were 32,000 out of 20,000 that was budgeted, so that item was exceeded already. And there's only 31,000 remaining in overtime for the rest of the year after that storm. And finally, the parts budget is at 85,000 of 153,000 budgeted. We were fortunate to dodge the nor'easter that was forecasted the following weekend. And depending how the rest of the winter goes, the budget may end up okay, but just to keep the council aware that it's trending high and may run over. As was mentioned earlier, I've begun meeting with departments to review their budgets for fiscal year 26-27. As of this morning, I've met with all the smaller departments, and we start tomorrow with the larger departments with police and fire. We expect to be done with the departmental reviews by February 23rd. And there will be some information later this evening for what the council should expect on your end so that we can solicit any feedback and incorporate it into the procedure. We received notice from the town clerk's office last week that the deed finalizing the transaction at Central Plaza has been filed. So I'd like to thank the council for your responsiveness and flexibility in facilitating the transaction. It could not have happened without that, so I wanted to thank you very much. Regarding HB 8002, I provided an update last month that I would keep the council informed as we got more information. Earlier in January, I met with SCROG staff, with Mayor Angeloni, and we ran through some of the timelines associated with the bill. We also received information regarding SCROG's role in the processes, and had the ability to ask questions and address concerns that were local to North Branford. Many of the finer details for the procedures are still being worked out by the state of Connecticut, but we'll continue to work closely with SCROG to address our concerns. Some questions that we asked, there is part of this bill is a statewide developable property inventory. And with such a large portion of North Branford being open space, we wanted to make sure that that was being taken into account. Likewise, previously there were affordable housing plans. Those have been replaced with what they're calling housing growth plans, and the content of those plans is still being determined, but we wanted to make sure that any developments that happened while those plans are being developed will count towards any allocations that the SCROG gives for the town of North Branford. The first deadline is going to be July 1st, which are some mandatory zoning changes. The town planner is aware of those requirements and is awaiting the outcome of the legislative session that is ongoing in case there are any changes. Additionally, I attended a Greater New Haven Chamber of Commerce meeting on February 11th, where the Secretary of Housing was present. I asked her some of the questions that came up during the discussion with the SCROG staff, and I was referred to the SCROG staff, so we'll continue to work with them. Restaurant Month is underway in North Branford. February is typically a slow month for restaurants, and so the intent is to bring awareness and hopefully drive some business to the many wonderful restaurants we have in town. New this year is in return for participating in Restaurant Month, we're making featured posts on the town's social media highlighting the participants. And we hope to strengthen and broaden Restaurant Month for next year. We encourage the residents to participate and be entered into a raffle to win hundreds of dollars in gift cards to local restaurants. And finally, the library is again offering the virtual tax assistance program. This allows IRS certified tax preparers to do income tax filings for households with income below $69,000 a year. Clients must have a valid email address in order to participate. Interested residents can call the Smith or Atwater libraries. Librarians can assist with scanning any documents required for filings, and the libraries also have copies of state and federal income tax forms for all residents.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just want to mention, I don't think I'm the only one on this. I thought Public Works did a terrific job with the last major storm.
Absolutely.
If relatives live in Branford, Milford, they said when they got to North Branford, they were actually able to get where they wanted to go. So hats off. I don't think I'm the only one that feels that way. That's terrific.
It's noticeable.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob, thank you very much, because my mailbox was still standing.
Okay, Town Manager's Report for Permanent Project Building Committee.
So at the police department, warranty items continue to be addressed. They're still working with the contractors through the HVAC adjustments, and the cracks in the driveway are under review. At the high school, the glass replacement remains in progress. 2 pieces remain needing to be replaced. They're investigating the green roof leak, and it should take place over February and April break. And then warranty and closeout review remain in progress. At the Edward Smith Library, the HVAC bids are due March 4th. At the high school, the storage building, we're awaiting construction season to get the specs together for bidding. At Public Works, construction remains in progress. The furniture has been installed, and there's been no change at Stanley T. Williams.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is citizen statements, petitions, and correspondence.
I'm next.
Okay, you need to state your name and address for the record. And just a reminder to anyone who comes up, we do have a 3-minute limit on speaking.
Okay, today is my first day attending this project here. I'm talking about my houses that I own in North Branford.
Could you state your name for the record?
My name is Michelle Rosa, date of birth
We don't need date of
0709.
birth, we just need
Well, I
address.
do like it because I'm proud of myself. My attorney is no longer my attorney anymore. She wants me to be my accountant for my houses and stuff. And I did win with, he became a judge. He was my attorney, Enrico Karsha. So I have my residency back for, it's a certain word for, I have my own estate in Leeds Island Road. I told the Branford police that I wanted to make a donation so they could make
Are
it.
you a resident of North Branford?
I have housing that has paintings in there. I want to move back to my housing, and the ones in North Branford, I want to knock them down and sell the land because they're mice infested. So
You're a
that's
property owner in town. You own property in town.
in North Branford, Northford. They told me to come here in Branford, and there's this nice lady. I thought maybe I could rent a room. She could rent a room for me. She works at Karen's Corner, her
This
and
is-
Gus.
This is not Branford, this is North Branford. so-
Yes, I do understand that, but Branford told me I had to come here to get my taxes, where my property's at.
Okay.
And Wendy told me when I move, I have to go to court, to get my property.
Okay, so what is your comment, because you're using up your time here? so-
Yes, I just want to know where those houses are exactly. I do know the direction how to get there, but I don't have it on file. It was only.
You want to know where your houses are in North Branford?
Yes, and the taxes that are owed, there was people just renting them out.
You should probably stop in tomorrow to the tax assessor, see them, and then talk to them about the houses and find out where they are and, whatever you owe, whatever you have to do with those houses.
Yes, because they
Well,
were
that would be
supposed
the
to pay
tax
me
assessor.
extra 500 every year. When they first opened, it was 1,650.
Okay, so there's nothing that we can help you with here tonight because we don't have access to any of that information. You would have to come when town hall is open between 8:30 and 4:30.
Okay.
And someone can help you in the town hall tomorrow. to
Yes,
get
I do
that
want those houses knocked down,
Well, that you would have to find out.
but
you
not
can-
the ones in Stony Creek. Those
Yeah.
houses are gorgeous.
Those aren't ours,
Well,
so
you can
we don't.
definitely
Yeah,
check with them.
but who does Stony Creek?
Branford.
Branford.
You would have to go to Branford for that.
No, the right down here, not the one by
Stony Creek
CVS.
Stony Creek is Branford. We do not have anything to do with Stony Creek.
I'm the assessor, my name is Dave.
Hello, nice to meet you.
I'm across the hall tomorrow, 8:30 to 4:30.
Okay.
I'll help you out tomorrow.
All right, well, thank you. Yes,
Okay.
so that could be guided.
Thank
I
you.
came here to testify and tell the truth.
Okay, that's
you.
fine.
Thank you. I don't have to hide.
Nope, you can come
And I am
tomorrow.
a veteran too.
Okay, Dave
Thank
Ambrose,
you. Tomorrow.
our assessor, will help you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank
And I
you.
need to live with my son again.
Okay.
Thank
Are-
you.
Are there any other citizen statements at this point? Okay, we're going to move on to resignations and appointments. The first is a resignation of a fellow counselor, Ron Pulicia, is resigning from the town council effective February 18th, 2026. I would just personally like to thank Ron for all of his contributions on the council over the years that he has served. We will miss you, and thank you so much for your service. I just wanted to, we don't have to act on resignations, but I did want to acknowledge everything that Ron has brought to the table for us, and we will miss you and wish you the best of luck. So thank you.
I'd just like to say thank you to the citizens of North Branford for supporting me for the past 6+ years. I'd like to recognize all the town employees. I think we have some of the absolute best town employees here. They service our small community, but they do a fantastic job, as other council members were saying. I've been saying it for years. You instantly know after a snowstorm whether you're in North Branford or one of the surrounding towns, without a doubt. The staff in town hall is amazing, and what's really made this enjoyable to me has been my counterparts here on the town council. Everybody brings something a little bit different to the table. I have a tremendous amount of respect for everybody that participates. I don't think the public realizes how much time is put in behind the scenes, not just these meetings, and how much all these individuals truly care about the community. So if you look back on our voting records, a lot of stuff was unanimous. You know, we've had some spirited debates over time, but that's what we should be doing. And so I'd just like to say thank you to everybody up here and all the previous members as well. You guys had, you know, you definitely made it worthwhile. So thank you very much.
Thank you. The next resignation is from Al Rose. Al is resigning from the Permanent Project Building Committee effective today. And he is doing that because of the next item on the agenda, and that is, do I have a motion to appoint Al Rose to the Town Council to replace Ron Paligia to fill out the remaining term effective February 18th, 2026?
Motion.
Second.
Motion was made by Counselor Goad, seconded by Counselor Paligia. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Abstain? Motion passes. So we will be welcoming Al Rose back. And I'd just like to thank Ron for, you know, the timing of all of this. It's before budget season, which is maybe a good thing for him, not to have to deal with all of that, but it's great to get a new person on right at the very beginning. And Al is a veteran to this, so the learning curve will be short for Al. Thank you very much for that. Also, we have a number of appointments and reappointments that I would like to do in one motion, unless someone has an
I'll move
objection.
to accept the appointments and reappointments in block under sections 12E, 12D through 12L.
Second.
I'll second.
Motion was made by Counselor Mace, seconded by Counselor Zampano, to do voting on all of the appointments and reappointments. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstain? All right, motion passes. On to unfinished business. First item is 2025 grand list.
Good evening. Ron, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Now that reval is behind us, the town has returned to a more typical growth pattern. What we're seeing again is the normal activity that drives the grand list. Things like building permits, personal property additions, fewer asset retirements, and ongoing discovery work, rather than large market swings. Overall, the net taxable grand list increased by 13.5 million or 0.72%. For perspective, if we look at non-reval years from 18 through 25, the average annual increase was about 1.18%. So this year falls well within the normal range for North Branford. Let me walk you through a couple of past grand lists for context. In 2018, growth was about 1.25%, mainly from a value review of the town's life care facility and the utility revaluation slash audit. In 19, growth was 1.11%, driven by a higher number of new homes and permit-related adjustments that allowed me to go in and revalue income-producing properties. In 21, growth reached a decent mark of 3.17%, and that was largely solely because of a $33 million increase in motor vehicle ground list. In 22, growth was 1.72%. That was supported by motor vehicle increases, infrastructure upgrades by Eversource. In 23, we had a modest growth of 1.8%, mainly due to fewer building permits and reduced personal property activity. Now on to this year. Real estate. The net taxable real estate grand list decreased slightly, well, more than slightly, about $3 million or 0.17%. The main reason was an increase in the exemption for permanently and totally disabled veterans, totaling about $10 million. Personal property. The net personal property ground list increased by $7.7 million or nearly 14%. This reflects a review of exemption claims that did not qualify under state law, along with effective discovery using near maps. Motor vehicles. The motor vehicle ground list increased by $8.6 million or about 6%. Vehicle values are beginning to stabilize as we enter the second year of Senate Bill 501. The first year created a downward adjustment, which was expected, and current growth now reflects more typical activity from new purchases and normal turnover. Overall, the grand list reflects a return to steady, predictable growth following reval. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for Dave at all in regards to the grand list? There also is an item on our agenda under new business. Since Dave is here, before he leaves, it's item 14B. If anyone has any questions in regards to the 66 Great Hill assessment that's in the packet, you can just ask Dave your questions now before he leaves, and then we'll take action when we get to it, if anyone has any. Dave, do you want to just summarize quick what happened with 66 Great Hill?
Taxpayer brought to my attention that her escrow was increased by $5,000, and so I immediately looked at the value of the property, and the property is a slightly above average range ranch, and the value was close to $1 million. So it was a red flag. In mass appraisal, these things get by every once in a while. You do extensive quality control, but sometimes these things miss. And I did a personal independent appraisal of the property, which you see in your packet, lowered it to X amount of dollars, which is, it's a fair and equitable value.
Is there a way, Dave, to search our database to look for these anomalies?
Yeah, the sales, the assessment, sales ratios will indicate what the outliers are. And that's one method we use during reval. And there's 5,000 properties that we value over a 6-month period, and we can't, unfortunately, we try our best to catch them all, but we don't. And technically, we don't have to make any adjustments. I could tell them they have to go to the Board of Appeals or following that, Superior Court. But if there's really if it's grossly overvalued, I'm gonna take a look at it and praise it, which I did in this case.
Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
Dave, if somebody's selling a house and then there's a big bidding war and they get a lot more than they originally asked for, does that then mean that value is that whatever that amount is?
Well,
whatever it's sold at, that then becomes the value?
No, that value will be reviewed during reval time. We can't change the value of properties between revals based upon sale prices. But unfortunately, that bidding war, It's just the market, unfortunately. And that's why the market right now is so inflated. I'm waiting for rates to drop, so I think at that point in time, I think the values will decrease. I don't know by what percentage, but they will come down eventually.
Dave, how many $1 million houses do we have in North Branford?
Got 20? Before reval, we had 1.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And most of the $1 million houses are located on the new subdivision on Lucia Drive. People paid a lot for those properties.
What drive is that?
Lucia, that's on Old Post, it was 108 Old Post Road.
Yeah.
People paid a ton of money for those houses. And I don't think they're worth it, to be honest with you.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome, Rose.
All right. Okay, next item on unfinished business is proposed ordinance number 2026-01, blight ordinance revisions. So this was the public hearing that we had earlier this evening. So as you will recall, the council did take action on this ordinance in January, but because we did an emergency ordinance change, which is good for 60 days. So now we went through the proper procedures to implement the changes that we made. And basically, the change in the ordinance is that it gives the council the ability to waive any fines that were imposed on a property at their discretion. And every case is an individual case. So that was not in the original blight ordinance, and that has been changed in here. That's the only change that was proposed in here.
So I can make a motion
Yep.
that the town council approve proposed ordinance number 2026-1, blight ordinance revisions as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Counselor Zampano. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Abstain? Motion carries. Okay. The next is set public hearing regarding ordinance number 2025-2, Chapter 182, entitled Peddling, Hawking, and Vending. So this, we talked about this before with the police chief, and we were waiting for some more information on this, correct?
After the last meeting, the police chief, the town attorney, and I met to discuss the ordinance to try to come up with some suggested language for you to review. And so provided with the memo is a red line version of that draft ordinance. And essentially, it exempts mobile food vendors from the requirements of the ordinance, as well as tag sales, garage sales, and events hosted by religious groups and nonprofits. And we think that this accommodates a lot of the discussion that you had last month while still protecting the town from like itinerant salespeople who would still be subject to the requirements.
Rob, I have a question. On the bottom of each page, there's a set of numbers. What are those numbers for?
Those are, I can answer that question. Those are internal numbers from our computer system where documents are saved.
Okay, I was just kind of curious.
It's when you do revisions, it picks up revisions and versions. It's a very high-tech file management system that I can't do anything about.
No, I just.
It has nothing to do with the ordinance.
Has nothing to do with the ordinance.
I
or
know,
the
but
town.
I'm curious because there's numbers at the bottom of the page. I'm trying to have, what are these numbers for? So this here, my understanding is just, it's not the rates that we're gonna charge, that the licenses that they have to buy. This is just a proposal just to change some of the language about the difference between a mobile food vendor and a stationary food vendor. Is that what this is about?
A lot of the discussion at previous meetings centered around, it's very common nowadays to have food trucks come to an event. And so, using POCO as an example, they would have been subject to the ordinance, or same if a church wants to do a carnival and they have food trucks come. So they would have had to pay for this license. So now food trucks are exempted entirely. And then additionally, anything from a nonprofit or religious institution. So if a church wants to have a tag sale, they would be exempt from the requirements.
So the true food trucks come to, say, a church carnival or something, they don't have to pay a fee to the town to attend that event and sell their wares? Is that what this is changing?
Correct.
They still have to do East Shore Health, that's totally separate. East Shore Health has their own regulations, so this does not exempt them from that. They would still have to do East Shore Health. This would just exempt them from having to pay an additional fee to the town of North Branford, which was handled through the police department before.
So
It
then
was
we're-
not a big revenue item, if that's your question, because.
I was just gonna say,
I know
what's
you're
the
going.
revenue? Is it big, is it small,
It
or?
was a very small number, and it probably made more work for the police trying to manage it, because there were so many exemptions. If a food truck went to a church or a not-for-profit doing it, or a school, it would be exempt. So the question is, when do they have to issue the permits? How do they track them down?
Okay.
And from a health and safety issue, you've got the health district taking care of food trucks and monitoring them. And this also has always exempted farmers, so it's not gonna hurt any farm stands, the corn stands, the vegetable stands. But what it does really address is the issue that the police have, and those are the itinerant door-to-door people showing up to make sure that they've been vetted by the police, that they have their ID before they go knocking on the doors trying to sell you, not to pick on a vendor, siding, windows, driveway sealing, whatever they're selling, the home improvement type vendors, which I think they get most of their complaints and concerns
All
about.
right, thank you, Brian. You answered the numbers and you answered we're not losing that much revenue because of this here. Thank you.
All right.
I'm good, Chairman.
Okay, so there is a suggested motion here.
I make the motion that the town council set a public hearing for Tuesday, March 17th at 7 PM to hear comments on proposed ordinance number 2025-2, chapter 182, entitled Peddling, Hawking, and Vending.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Counselor Miller. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstain? Motion passes. Okay.
Rory, when, say we have 50 food trucks, does East Shore Health actually come by and check all of them to make sure they have their paperwork and everything, that they are certified?
It's actually even before the POCO. There's mandatory food vendor that they have to meet, and the meeting is run by East Shore Health. And East Shore Health comes every single day of the POCO Fest and checks them
Thank
out.
you.
So,
Thank
yes,
you.
yes. So it's all on, East Shore Health dictates as to how that goes.
Perfect, thank you.
Mhm. Okay, next item, proposed charter revision. So as you know, we had put out a notice that we're doing charter revision, looking for people for charter revision. They were applications were due in on Friday. Rory is in the process of going through and vetting them, because some of the people that have applied are on other boards and commissions, and that was one of the things that you could not be on a board or commission. So at this point in time, while we're still going through that, we don't have enough applications. So I would like to just open up applications for another month yet, until March 13th, to get more applications.
I was gonna say, extend it for another month.
Yeah.
Did we get out the publications in the Totucket Times and the Sound?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We had notices in there and on our website, so we'll just, same process.
Let's try for another month, yeah.
Yeah, just to get the word out, to get some more applications in. But in the meantime, we can go over this kind of time frame so that we know where we're at. If it's feasible to think that we can get this done and be on the ballot for November of this year, or exactly what the timelines are. So that's why this is in here. So,
How many applicants were there? Rory, how many applicants were there?
I believe as of today, we have 11.
I can't hear you.
11.
As of today, we have 11.
Okay.
But you said majority of them are already on commissions.
some are. I saw some of the names on Friday, and there were several of them that were on other boards and commissions. So that'll bring the number down, or we need to talk to them and see, because they could resign from the board or commission that they're on to serve on the charter revision. That is a possibility.
Have we made that offer yet, or?
We haven't, because we were just waiting until we got the.
There
application.
was language in the posting that went out to remind people that if they served currently, they would have to resign from their position.
So,
And then they can be reappointed to their first.
yeah.
It's just.
We just don't know.
Okay, just
Yeah.
want to clear
Yeah,
that up.
yeah,
There's always a workaround.
yeah. Okay.
Should have resigned first.
So, Brian, do you want to just kind of, what do you work backwards? Like, what's the drop dead date that it has to be finalized by, and then?
Right, so your drop dead date, if you will, the approval, the town, you folks have to approve submission to the voters of a question 60 days before the election. So that's the last day, 60 days before the election, so November, so sometime in
September.
Early September. And then one thing happens after that, that's notification of the Secretary of State, but it's your 60 days is your hard stop. And then, before then, you've got to have your public hearing of this body, the public hearing of the commission, and then, you know, the decision of the commission, the vote of the commission, another public hearing. So they have an aggressive schedule. They may have to meet weekly or, you know, every other week, depending on what they're getting into, how much time they're spending, what are they trying to change, what are they reviewing. It could go fast, it could spend some time if they get into the weeds. But it can be done, you're still not.
Okay, so when does the clock start ticking? Like, when the committee is formed?
Once
or
it's formed, it has to get to an election in 16 months, so.
16 months from when the committee is formed?
Yeah, it's from the date I believe it's forming. I've got my notes here, hold on, I can tell you it is, hold on a second. The town council must specify by resolution when, I'm sorry, not here, when the commission shall submit its draft report. They have 16 months to submit a draft report to you.
Oh, okay,
So they can submit their draft report in 2027, summer of 2027, to get, might be tight, that's gonna be a little tight, but they can still get on the ballot for 2027 in that case, if they wanted to.
okay.
And if you're trying to use that election and not the 26th election.
All right. Okay, so it's 16 months from the date.
No later than 16 months, they have to submit that report. You have to give them a date when you want their draft report.
Okay,
But you cannot give them more than 16 months. So if you appoint them next month, you don't want to give them 16, that's a little bit too much. You're going to be very tight the summer of 2027.
right, okay.
So can we get it done this year, or can we get it done this year?
You could if you wanted to. I mean,
Okay.
it's not, I think we can still make the schedule, yeah. They have to have a number of meetings, so they got to get moving.
It will be very tight, and the council also needs to give them direction of what we want them to look at. And so if you haven't looked at the charter, you know, you need to do that to bring it forward to a meeting, rather than us, you know.
You
keep
may
asking.
make recommendations to them, so
Right.
that may be helpful. If not, you're going to have a group that has no recommendations and no guidance other than look at the charter. And we can help them do that, but if you had specific things you'd like them to look at, that would be helpful. And you may not. You may.
Well, can I ask, of the 11 people that have submitted interest, how many of them are not on a committee or commission?
Rory's in the process of going through that right now, on there. The ones that I saw, and I don't know if I saw the whole packet, there were 3 on, out of that list that were on a board or commission. So I think there were 9, so that left 6.
All right, so let me ask you this here, Counselor. If,
What's the number? You want the number?
if we don't get 7, but we have 5, and we start with 5, can we add to the Charter Revision Commission as they're going along?
I don't believe so. I think you have to, I'm calling up that statute right now. Membership.
I think you should also have alternates too,
Within
because
30 days
people don't
after
realize what they're getting into.
Consisting of not fewer than 5 nor more than 15 electors,
What's that?
not more than 1/3 of whom may hold
Yeah,
any other public office in the municipality, and not more than a bare majority of whom shall be members of any one political party. It doesn't talk about alternates, but you have to have regular members, so you should just appoint your members, but make sure you have enough members.
But it says no less than 5, but
No fewer than 5.
I know we thought, and Rose mentioned at the last meeting, that the ideal number would be 7, not too big, not too small.
Correct.
But if we don't have 7 and we have 5, and we start with 5,
Mhm.
can we add interest if people want to get onto it after
I
we
don't think so.
started?
No.
I don't think so, no, because they wouldn't have been there for the entire process. I think you could-
We're just gonna extend it for 1 month for
Okay.
more applications on there, and then see what we have with, from there.
Okay.
And
I'm good with it.
go forward.
Brian, so when we talk about charter revision, we're just talking about this one document?
The charter, the town charter.
Right.
Correct, not the ordinances.
So what's, I thought there's another piece that's called the code.
The code, that's the code of ordinances. So how you look at it, your charter, if you look at the federal government or the state government, you have the US Constitution, you have the state of Connecticut, we have a constitution in Connecticut. The town of North Branford has a constitution, it's called the charter. It's the organic law of the community, it's the governing document of this community. You also have ordinances, you have federal statutes, you have state statutes, and you have local ordinances. Your ordinances are your local laws, such as the one we just talked about, the food truck, peddling, hawking, such as the blight. Those are ordinances, and they're in your, what's called your code. So they're not looking at the code. These are not revisions to the code. These are revisions to the charter.
Because, I mean, so, for instance, we could say, okay, we want you to look at the rights and obligations.
Yeah, you could tell them you want to look at the budget process. You could tell them you want to look at what boards and commissions are appointed versus elected. You want to make something an elected board. You want to make an elected board, if possible, an appointed board. Something like zoning or a ZBA can go either way in
Yeah.
Connecticut and communities. Those are the kind of things you can change in a charter.
Brian, we had talked in a few meetings about this, and then we had found out that we have to open the charter now, right?
I didn't see that in the statute, though. I ran a
We have
search
to
on
do
that.
that.
I think there was a public
Yeah.
act that talked
With
about
public
that.
act, yeah.
It never was passed, because it's
So-
not in the statute, it's not codified, so I don't think that ever passed, the
Okay.
public act from 2015.
So we don't have to open it then?
No. You don't have to, no.
Are you saying the
So
public
we
act
had
didn't
kind of
have-
agreed before
was
that we
effective
didn't want to
October
open it.
1st, 2005.
We had kind of all said that we
Yeah,
didn't
or
want
whatever
to
your
open it,
five,
so.
but it didn't, that was
Yeah, I was
effective,
not
I don't
in
see
favor
it
of it.
passing,
I
it's
didn't
not
see
codified, I
anything
ran a search on it.
glaring
It's-
enough to-
I'm gonna have to look, because I did my
I
search
can't
on
find
it
it being
too.
passed, yeah.
It was effective October 1st, 2005. That public act was effective. And
I thought it was
said that the
2015.
municipality
I think it was 15, and I
must-
didn't- and I didn't see it when I ran a search on our research software for that. But we can talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't have to open it as of right now, you're saying?
No, I mean, no, someone could, someone could always petition to be opened, but.
So as part of this then, Brian, is it, like if you have a commission or some board, do you also look at the way it operates and look at, to try to, or you could change the way it operates or functions, or or its authority, or is, I'm just trying to understand, because I read through this
You
and
have to be careful, because some of them have statutory authority, like
Yeah.
what your zoning commission does, and what your zoning board of appeals does, what your conservation commission or inland wetlands, they have statutorily, state statute requirements of what they're supposed to do, so you can't touch them too much.
Right.
Do too much to them. They have certain obligations. You can control membership on some of them, things like that, if it's in your charter. A lot of the things what commissions end up doing are either changing budget timing, budget process with public hearings, referendum, reorganizing government in some cases, who reports to who, if there's a report structure in your charter for that town. What boards and commissions are elected and which are appointed. That's the kind of stuff charter revision looks at.
Okay.
Very high level, but fundamental to the community's operation at the same time.
because as I read through this, the other night, and it's like, there's not a lot of meat and potatoes in a sense that, and that's where I was trying to figure out what is our goal, or what are we trying to achieve, or, what can we achieve, or what should we achieve? All those thoughts were going through my mind.
That's the question.
Yeah.
You can look at some things. I flagged a few things you can look at. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but things that would not be inappropriate. You can look at the power of referendum on the budget. You can talk about budget transfers, if there's certain dollar amounts before you need approval for transfers, or for special meetings, or for bonding, we're going out to bidding requirements. You can look at appointment versus election of various boards and commissions. You can look at the purchasing, bidding, appropriations, and budget process if you want to change the bidding process, the purchasing process. Remote meetings, if you want to make a provision regarding remote meetings, minority representation, which you have to have under state statute. And then, any grammar, if you don't like the grammar. People are referred to, him, his, her, them, they.
Brian, do you think it would be beneficial? Obviously, I'm not going to be here, but do you think it would be beneficial?
You want to be on the commission?
No. That would defeat the purpose of me resigning. Would it be beneficial, you think, to everybody if, because you guys, your office represents some other towns, just to have like sample town charters of what you consider as a good town charter, or
That's a tough question,
Or
whether
not.
it's a good charter. No, because every town will do things in their charters, commissions, which we may not personally agree with, but if that's what they want to do.
right?
We have some towns that have, one in particular I did this year, a very confusing charter, which it hurts your head every time you get to the budget year. Reading it and trying to understand it, it must go on for 10 pages talking about the budget process in small print. And we tried to help them clean it up, but some towns like the way they do things and want to keep doing it that way. And they make very complicated and complex processes because they like it, and that's how they do it. So it's tough to go into a town and make them change everything if they've been doing it, because the argument is that's why people live here. They like our government, it seems to work. So there's no model. It's not like there's a model charter I can give you. Every town, they're so different if you look at towns. Some are big, some are small. Big differences. All trying to do the same thing, all are definitely doing the same thing.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to, upon the confirmation of the town attorney, that we do not have to open the charter, that we do not open the charter.
I'll second that.
Motion was made by Counselor Goad, seconded by Counselor Diamond. Discussion?
I'll speak against the motion. I read into the minutes, and I'm going through last month's minutes, and I read clearly the statute, although the bill isn't in here, where it said, the bill requires, and was in effect on October 1st, the bill requires each municipality at least once every 10 years to appoint a commission to review its charter for home ordinances, beginning October 1st of 2005. The bill requires appointing authorities to appoint the commission at least once every 10 years fully to review the charter or home ordinance. That was done in October 1st of 2005, and it's been October 1st of 2015. This past October 25 was 10 years since the bill's passed. He believes the last charter revision was in 1994. So I read the bill that was passed in May of 2015. The bill was passed, and it took effect October 1st. I think the motion is out of order because it violates the bill that was passed, that each municipality will do a charter revision every 10 years. And 10 years has passed. So I believe that the motion is out of order at this time. And I think the state spoke for us, and you were asking, the state spoke for us to say each municipality will have a charter revision within 10 years.
My motion was after he makes confirmation, so if he, depends on what happens. What our town attorney says, that's what we'll go by.
Well, what the town attorney says, we don't have to go by. I mean, there's
That's
a
what I'm
difference
gonna
of,
go. I'm gonna go by
there's a
what he
difference
says.
of opinion.
I'm going by what our town attorney says.
Okay. Well, I think the town attorney's wrong. I think the bill was passed in May of 2015 and took effect in October 1st of 2015.
But we can validate that. If we can, we just need to validate it, and then it's a different discussion. But unless we have that validated, we don't know.
Well, I disagree with the motion. I spoke against the motion. I think the motion is out of order. I think the bill passed, and it's been more than 10 years since we had a charter review revision to comply with the bill that was passed in 2015.
Well, in any case, we've been talking about this for months, and even since everyone, this council, was elected in November, we are now in February, and no one has brought anything forward from the
No, we
charter.
haven't even opened it.
So that just, me
Wait a
personally,
minute.
just kind of leads me to believe that maybe we don't need the charter revision, and if the town attorney confirms that the bill did not pass, they might have introduced it and everything else, but if the bill never passed and it's not in the state statutes, and we don't have, that's the purpose of Counselor Goetz' motion.
Well, first of all, you can't say that people haven't brought forward things to address. I've been waiting.
I've
for
been
the
asking
commission-
every month.
Well, I don't want to say what I want to address yet. I was waiting for the commission to be appointed before I give them my thoughts about what parts of the charter I want looked at.
But we have to agree, the council has to agree. So it's not that you just tell the council that you want, or the commission, this is what you want, and if the council hasn't talked about it and agreed on it, then that doesn't move forward to the commission.
I don't
So we
know.
have to agree on what we want to
It's what the
have.
council wants, not what you want.
I don't think the council has to agree with everything everybody says for the charter commission to look at something. If I have an idea, or somebody else has an idea, what section they're important with, what section they want to look at, that's what they look at. All right, and if somebody doesn't have an idea, then they just sit back silent. But if somebody has an idea, that's what they want to look at. Doesn't have to, I have to pass all 8 people before they look at something? I don't think that's the way it was written.
I think we had a discussion last time. Our attorney said that no matter what we would present, they could actually come up with something on their own
Correct.
too to
Yeah.
bring forward to us, so, and my thing is, I don't think it looks right that we put out public notice or, information for people to come to sign up for a charter, and now we're gonna say, no, we're not doing it. I don't know about that. I mean, I think we should just wait to see what the attorney
Yeah,
says,
I
to
think-
confirm that was passed before we make any
Yeah, I
other
don't see it.
judgment. I just don't think it looks
I'm
right.
looking at the
We should
legislative
vote.
history, I could see the proposal, it was Public Act, substitutes House Bill 5087, but then you have to look at file number 509, and it was a proposal, that a 7190 of the statutes be repealed and substituted effective 10/1/15, and it had a new section C requiring it every 10 years, but if you actually look at the statute in effect right now, 190 does not have a C, it says that. So, and if you look at the legislative history I'm looking at, it shows it ending, it was on the House calendar April 8th, and then it talks about file 9. I don't know where, I don't see it any indication the governor signed it. It's certainly not in the statute referred to. You look at that statute. That language was never put in 7190.
Well, I don't have my computer with me, but I will look it up this week.
Call me if you want to talk.
The other thing too that I read, that might be of consideration is that it says that the town council, needs to review it, often prompting the formation of a charter review commission. So do we actually have to do, that brings to question, do we actually have to do a charter revision commission, or as a body, do we just have to review the charter? Because there's two different things.
You don't have to review it.
No, what I'm saying, according to that, the bill that was proposed.
Yeah, I don't think that bill's in effect, so but you can just review it without appointing to.
Correct.
I guess what you're saying, assuming if you wanted to follow the theory. of
Which,
that.
in theory, we kind of did.
Yeah.
Well, I also think that Craig has a valid point as well. We advertised and people have come forward. I could certainly wait for Counselor to do whatever his research is, because I'll do my research as well, to see if that bill that was passed in 2015 and took effect in May 2015, took effect October 1st of 2015. I didn't read anything that it was repealed later on.
I don't think it was ever enacted is the problem. I don't know that it came out and was signed by the governor.
Well, if I read the information right, it said that it took effect, it was passed in May 2015, it took effect October 1st of 2015.
But what he said
Why
was
would-
that what was enacted didn't have that section in it, section C, which referred to the.
Well, I don't have my computer to verify
Well,
what
we'll
he's
just
looking at.
validate it and see where we are. You could validate it. Maybe you can call Brian and you guys can collaborate and.
If he buys lunch, I'll call him and go out.
Okay. Okay.
If you
All
run,
right.
you know, if you run a search, for instance, on Lexus, the old
I
high-tech
don't use
way,
LexisNexis.
Connecticut law does
Okay,
not
so we're gonna
explicitly
take a
mandate
vote
requirement
on,
for charter review.
the motion. Yep, roll call vote.
Mayor Angeloni,
Can you just read the motion?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, thank you.
To restate the motion, just so that we're all sure. what-
Bless you.
thank you. Upon confirmation from the town attorney, if it shows, now, I'm putting this together here. Upon confirmation from the town attorney, we do not need to open up the charter. Is that my understanding?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you have the
For the
discussion in
motion.
there?
Oh, yeah, I have the
Yeah,
discussions
she
in
was
there.
she was just doing the motion so that we all understand what we're voting on here. So the motion is not to open up the charter once.
Upon confirmation of the
Upon
town attorney,
the town attorney.
No such action is.
On public act,
Right.
whatever,
Yeah.
what was it? Just
The motion was to take no further action regarding creation of a charter revision commission upon confirmation of the town attorney that such action is not mandated at this time.
Okay.
Something like that.
What he said. Okay.
Okay.
Mayor Angeloni.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McMillan.
Yes.
Counselor Diamond.
Yes.
Counselor Goad.
Yes.
Counselor Mace.
No.
Counselor Miller.
I'm a no.
Counselor Palacia.
This is upon confirmation by the town attorney, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
Counselor Whitworth.
No.
Counselor Zampano.
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes 6-3.
But we're gonna still pursue this extension before we get people, right?
Well,
How long before you'll know, Brian?
What?
How long before you'll actually know the definite answer?
A week? By this time next week?
yeah, so we can hold off on extending until we. Yes. Yep. Okay. Next item is flags and brackets for town center. Mr. Celentano.
Good evening. Little different than charter revision here, so flags and brackets.
Just as controversial, though.
Yes. So last month, we came to you with a proposed replacement of brackets, American flag, and holiday flags for the town, the two town centers. The price was a little hefty, so the consensus of the council was to hold off on the holiday end of it. And we would do those next budget cycle to keep it under the $15,000 bid threshold was the target. So rounding back up with the company I met with and two others per the, bid threshold there to get 3 quotes. It turns out they were supplying us with double the brackets that we needed. They were assuming that we were putting a holiday flag on one side of the pole and the American flag at the same time. We just want one set of brackets and we're gonna seasonally rotate them. So with that being said, chopping the brackets in half and re-quoting it, we could purchase both style flags and the brackets and stay under the $15,000 bid threshold, which would put the whole project to bed now and hopefully get 3 decades out of it like we did the last ones.
And it was verified that they're made in the United States?
Yep, made in the United States. The company here, Main Street Designs, they have a whole YouTube channel of them making them, and we're buying factory direct here. And there is a sample somewhere behind your desk there, if anyone wanted to see it or feel it. Really? Yeah, they're kind of a fabric-y vinyl type.
Okay, so these are then bracketed on top and bottom, so
Yep, vertical.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
And that works for, the holiday flags, the American flags down the road. If we ever wanted to do something for the POCO, it would fit the same brackets and.
Okay, so on the holiday flags, do we have to get them all the same, or could we get 2 designs?
We could get whatever mix we want. Yeah, it's just price per flag, so whether they print our town name on it or not, they're all one. To your point, though, yeah, say we did 25 of a green one, 25 of a red, and flopped them back and forth. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, just, it'd be like every other one, just so that.
Oh, okay.
Not all the same.
Yeah.
So that you had 2 designs, and if you have 25 poles,
Yeah.
you just get mixed up
Yeah, we could do that. Absolutely.
on there. I mean,
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't know, Franny's smiling back there.
Fee for installation, that is what they do.
I was gonna say, is it too hard to plan it out that every other one is different?
We'll see how it unfolds.
I think putting the town logo was a nice idea, but I think it makes it look too busy on those holiday flags.
Well, see, on the holiday flags, I wouldn't do the town logo, but we could have one that has North Branford on it, because
Right,
if you.
but I think the logo makes it look too busy.
Yes, it
I
does.
agree, yeah. Yeah, we had them throw it on just to see what it would look like.
I personally don't want to sit here and negotiate and decide on flags, and I think we can leave that up to the powers to be. The big thing is, do you want, the flag, the holiday flag to say North Branford? And then there's a number of variety of signs of flags. I would say to get 2 holiday flags, with the North Branford name, whatever design there, and you guys can.
Yeah, one red, one green, or, yeah.
Whatever, 2 different designs with the North Branford name on it. There is a suggested motion on page 76 of our packet.
Motion to approve the quote of $14,998 for Main Street Designs for 50 US flags, 50 holiday flags, 50 brackets, and to take it out of contingency.
Second.
Motion was made by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Counselor Whitworth.
Any further discussion?
One thing I wanted to add, as you drive around, you know, sometimes you go in smaller communities around the country and you'll see some people use those things to show during Memorial Day, Veterans Day, actual photographs. You've probably seen it, of people in the community who've served, like for Memorial Day or Veterans Day, and actual pictures of people from the community.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's terrific. I think it adds to the community. And, you know, I tell people that North Branford's kind of like the best kept secret in the shoreline. You know, maybe the word's going to get out, but I just think this is terrific that we just occasionally puff our chest a little bit. It's worth the money.
Yeah, I think we probably should even have the council, pictures of the council.
We could do whatever we want in the future. The brackets are there, so yeah, absolutely.
Any other comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you.
I'd like to go back to one item and take up the bet for lunch with Vince, because I've confirmed it never came out and got voted on the floor or got signed by the governor. If you go through if you dig in the
So
legislative
was the
history.
bet that he would pay if he lost?
Yes.
Is that it?
I just want to put that on the record so it's clear.
I didn't hear what you said.
Sounds like a yes to me.
All in favor, we should take a quick vote.
If you're coming to North Branford, I'll take you to McDonald's, so.
Well, it's restaurant month. It's restaurant month. You gotta patronize.
McDonald's is a restaurant.
They're not part of the group.
I gotta do my research.
Okay.
And one quick thing on the sign, just on the banners, we represent a number of towns that have these. Some towns go to local businesses or different groups and have them make donations and sponsorship for these, whether it be the seasons or the local businesses. Sometimes will advertise.
Right.
You can do a lot of creative things with them, or to honor a veteran, honor a graduate, things like that. Put your kid's picture up there that's graduating.
Well, once we have the brackets,
You have a lot of things you
it's
can do with these
endless.
once they're up. Good.
It's endless.
Yeah.
Franny just wants his guys
Still
to
got a
keep
shot,
changing flags all year round,
Sponsor
right?
yourself and put your picture up there, Tom.
Right.
Yes. Okay, the administrator equity adjustments under unfinished business, will happen later, because that's an executive session, and then we'll come back to that. Next item is Reed's Gap Road property request.
Likewise, that'll be after executive session.
Okay, all right. Under new business, first item, finally, Chief Lovelace, Axon body camera, taser, and in-camera contract.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In your packet, you should have a copy of a proposed 10-year contract with Axon. And I also submitted it's a little flow chart. It gives you some questions to answer stuff, another packet in there as well, just so you're well aware of what we're looking at. When you look at that total cost, that is not, I didn't double it like Dan did with brackets. That's the actual number. So your call, I can give you a condensed version or I can go in depth. You just let me know if you have questions. Feel free.
You can do the condensed.
Yeah, I'm well aware of the amount of time you guys volunteer. So quick background, 2003, we purchased tasers in the town. We've had a taser program since then with Axon. 2018, we purchased body cameras through Axon. That was a state grant that paid for the first year, and then we assumed the costs after that. 2019, we did an in-car camera system that was purchased with Chief Halloran with WatchGuard. I've been looking we have 3 different separate contracts. Some are expiring, some have a couple years before they expire. But our in-car camera system is in serious need of replacement. It's starting to malfunction. I've been piecing this program together for about 3 years. I've actually wanted to bring it forward last year, but that was obviously not the budget season to entertain that type of number. WatchGuard was purchased by Motorola. I'm not going to go into depth about that. We already had enough talk about Motorola tonight. I think we have some feelings on that. But what I'd like to do is move it under one platform. Axon's under a state contract. The state police signed on to it. So it's under state contract, and as well as many other towns. It gives us one solid platform to operate under. So I've been piecing it together. They finally caught on to me in about 3 years, and they basically shut us down from from me grabbing parts and spares from other departments around the state, which forces us now we have to do something. What Axon used to do is only 5-year contracts. So that's why this number looks really, it's a big number, but that's why it looks even bigger but with the 10-year, they now opened up to 10 years, it gives us a solid platform to budget for 10 straight years. It also gives us a solid platform where we're not paying that 5 to 7% every time we go to renew a contract. I'm not going to lie to you, at the end of 10 years, it's going to catch up with us, right? But for 10 years, the town can have a solid platform to go through. Some of the highlights of this program is we got you're going to see a number for credit there. That's credit for of not only us bundling the 3 contracts together, but also credit for what we've already have in some of those other, what we paid for in some of those other divided up contracts. So we worked that out with the sales rep, the vendor I work with on a yearly basis. So what it does is it gives you unlimited storage. It gives you body cams, which the program that we have, we get new ones every 2.5 years. Some of the highlights of these body cams, the reason we're looking at it is we're becoming very diverse in our languages in the town of North Branford, which becomes very difficult because when you're trying to provide services to someone who in need and you have trouble communicating with them, right, then we're doing a disservice to that resident or whoever's coming through here because we can't understand until we get a translator. You can listen to the radios all the time. Everybody's calling around for people to translate. But these body cams actually in real time translate over 50 different languages. And they speak right to the officer. It's also a great officer safety tool because if you don't speak that language and you have a group of people that are speaking a different language, that could be an officer safety issue, not knowing what people are communicating around you. So many different benefits there. It's broken down. Most of these things that we have or we already have in our body cam program, it's just continuing that, such as auto tagging. Anytime an officer goes there to a scene, their GPS located, so it tags it to the case number that we do in our CAT RMS, things of that nature. I'll switch over to the tasers. The tasers, we right now we have on the Taser 7 platform. Taser 10 is the newest taser. The reason we didn't do that when we purchased these a couple years ago and entered the contract is they were considered a firearm at that time. Under state of Connecticut law. So if you're using a less lethal, but it's qualified as a firearm in Connecticut state law, it kind of puts you in a pickle of a liability issue there, right? So that's been changed in state law. They're now considering ECW, electronic controlled weapon. So now taser now comes back into play for us. With this contract, we get brand new tasers. We get new tasers every 5 years. The technology doesn't change as fast as the body cams do. But every 5 years, we get brand new products, not refurbished, brand new products to our officers, all included in this price. The camera system. One of the reasons I was waiting on the LPRs, which is license plate reader in the in-car camera system, is there's a lot of talk, and there's still a lot of talk up at the state of Connecticut about LPRs, getting contracts signed. I met there with Representative Kinalora, commissioners from all over the state of Connecticut multiple times. We finally got it, so not just Axon, but other explaining why we needed these things. We now have the tools to use what other towns were paying for and not having the benefit of it. So LPRs give us license plate reader in every car when they're in motion around town, brings a lot of data. Now the question is, and you hear in the news, LPR data, federal agencies, ICE, things of that nature. One I'll say is that the state police signed on to this program. You know they're not allowed to use any of the data outside of that because we have the Trust Act in the state of Connecticut. What's different with Axon is we retain the data. We own the data. There's nobody else, third party can go and search our data. It's just North Branford. So that's a big difference out there and why it's allowed, not only with CSP, but with other departments around the state. And like I said, those are replaced every 5 years. There are, with the program, what you see now is a lot of, used to be a la carte. This isn't everything that Axon offers, just to give you an idea. This isn't a big wish list of give me everything. There's other towns that have drones stationed around, like Milford, around their city. That's all through Axon. They deploy when the calls come in, things of that nature. That number is astronomical. I wouldn't even bring it in front of you. But there are towns that can afford those programs. And there's a lot of other things that you can add into this, but this is sticking with the programs, meeting the state requirements we have, protecting officer safety, And it gives you a basis over a 10-year period to perform a stable budget over that time. And if anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to dive into each item, whether here or if you have a question, you can call me. And we can go piece by piece. I just want to give you a quick overview of where we came from and where I see us going for the next 10 years.
Okay, so the reason, I mean, this was brought forward to the finance subcommittee, and the finance subcommittee said to bring it forward to the whole council. And the reason Chief Lovelace came before finance now is that he is asking for our, we would need to have a motion tonight if we were going to move forward with this contract so that he can start getting this processed and they can start building all of our equipment and everything so that it's ready to go July 1st.
July 1st, we're deployable in every single unit.
But they need time to do that. And if he waited for the whole budget season for us to go through budget and then the referendum. So he has built this into his budget request that will be coming forward to us. Because he needed to get that in, so he built it on that premise that it's in his budget. It's replacing some contracts that are currently in his contract, but it is an additional cost. His current budget, these items are about $50,000 a year in his current budget. This goes up to $125,000 a year. And this would be starting for July 1st. But he needs a vote from the council in order to move forward with this.
I have some questions. This year, total commitment investment is 1.249 million, yearly community investment 1.24. What are all of those numbers, and how does it work?
So the total cost of the 10-year program is $1,249,962.52.
Okay.
The following pages break it down into 10 payments. They don't break it down to exactly to the pennies because you're getting different credits that we try to front load the credits, but I asked them to spread it across the 10-year period to give us a stable platform. So that's what those 10 payments are with those years, the contract, your last payment at 2035.
So this savings, it says 508,788 savings enabled by the 10-year term commitment?
Yep. So that savings is taken off of what the actual list price would be if I did à la carte every piece of this. Or if we just did tasers, then you don't get that as much of a credit. When you enter into a bigger platform, you get more benefits, but you're able to bundle it almost like your home and your auto, your insurance, and that's how all these packages are now put together.
I think that gives me a better understanding.
Jim, if you were just to go out and buy all the tasers and the cameras and everything you needed right now, if we just said go out and buy all of these, how much would that cost?
Like this contract, it'd be 1.2 million. It's the same purchase price whether we could, if the town wanted to write a check today, this would be the same price other than.
If you went out to buy it, that's what.
If you went out to buy it, yeah. If you went out to buy it separately and not bundled together, it would be a lot more money.
Okay.
You can add most of that $500,000 savings into there.
But it also, you're getting all of the program and the tracking with all, it's not just buying the
Yeah.
equipment, it's also all of the, all of
Yeah,
everything.
all these things are insured, body cam goes down, we send it out, we got another one coming back to us before ours gets there.
Yeah.
Same with the tasers, same with the in-car camera system. There's a VR system that comes with this bundle for training, for de-escalation. Officers, if anybody has Oculus or seen the VR, we get 2 headsets, we get scenarios, they're all certified by the state of Connecticut and nationally. They can interact, you could be the bad guy, you could be the good guy, you can do all sorts of different things. So all the new videos that come out with that automatically come. So as they update things, we get more options.
So what happens at year 11?
Yep. Somebody else is gonna be standing in front of you here.
No, but I mean, is it all new equipment again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, you refresh, you get to, so
Okay.
you end the contract on their latest equipment, with their latest model.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how they incorporate some of the savings in, because they don't have to furnish you with all brand-new stuff to start off with. The cars are the big deal because we don't have their program already.
Right. No, I wasn't sure,
Yeah.
throughout the 10 years, are they
Yes, that's what he said.
Yeah, yeah, throughout the 10 years, you're getting brand-new cameras every 2.5 years,
Right.
in-car cameras every 5 years, and new tasers every 5 years. So, the cameras, the in-car cameras and the tasers will be switched twice.
Right,
and
so year
5 times.
11, would it might, if it were to be extended year
Yep.
11, it might not be all new equipment, right? Because,
Yeah, it might just be services, depending on what the technology is at
right,
the time, yeah.
right, because you've been upgrading
Yeah.
throughout the last 10.
Yeah. The big number in this is really the in-car camera
Yeah.
system, then, other than continuing
Okay.
the other services, but.
And you said there's cloud storage included in that thing?
Unlimited cloud storage, yep.
And it also, having a contract like this, it locks in the price, so you don't have their price guarantees. I mean, you don't have their price increases, so you have your price guarantee.
Yep.
But the other part of this is this all of this equipment is mandated through the CALIA? Is that, or through the state? I mean, the state
Yeah,
police?
well, I'll say that up until tasers, because that's a choice depending on what municipalities do for less lethal.
Okay.
So that's case-by-case basis. I will say most of them do, but state of Connecticut in 2020, with the police accountability bill, it was a good thing that they mandated. We were already in the program in North Branford. We were ahead of that, what was coming. It was good that they mandated it for all agencies in Connecticut. The bad thing is, what that says to the salesperson is, everybody's gotta have a camera. So what's that do to prices? It drives up prices. That's, you guys are in private business, you know how that goes, but, so that's good and bad, but, yeah.
Council-
So a question, not so much for you, Chief, but maybe
Yeah.
for folks in the Finance Committee. You know, in the short, 2 months I've been on the council, everybody wants something, right? I knew that was gonna happen. So somebody wants a tax exemption for a good cause, we approved that. Somebody in our package tonight said they want a tax exemption for this, and that sounds like a great idea. And the fire department person the other day said they want washing machines. So I mean, at some point, you gotta say no, but then I deferred to the Finance Committee. So obviously, was this reported out favorably by finance, like, can we afford this?
Well,
Yes or no?
it's going to be in his budget,
Right.
which we're going to get, we don't know what the budget is going to look like because they're in the process of putting this together right
Okay.
now. So
Anyway.
the finance committee felt it was important enough to bring it forward to the whole council
Right.
to say, for him to proceed. And then during our budget deliberations is where we're going to have to get into the
Okay.
nitty gritty of
Cost them a couple cars, you know?
of where, you know,
I'm gonna bring that up during budget, though. We'll have another laugh on
I
that,
mean,
but yeah.
there has been some discussion and the chief has been looking at, other funding availability.
It's just not confirmed yet, so
Yeah.
once I can confirm it, which should be by budget, I think you'll all be, and the taxpayers will be very happily surprised with, otherwise I wouldn't, I'm a taxpayer, I get it, I get it.
I just want to follow up on that. The reason I say that is because as we set priorities, I think we could all agree, North Branford, we follow the law, we support our police. Bottom line. I think we can all say that. So I think you've done your homework. This package looks terrific.
Yep, appreciate it.
All right, so we, in order for the chief to move forward, we need approval from a motion from the council to, approve the Axon contract, so that we can move forward.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the 10-year public safety partnership for the police department with Axon for 10 years for a cost of $1,249,962.52.
Second.
Motion was made by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Counselor Whitworth. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay. All right, next item is 66 Great Hill Assessment. I think, the reason this came before us is because it's such a large reduction in the assessment that Dave Ambrose had talked to us about before, so the council needs to approve this. And there, no, there is not a motion in here, so do we just approve the new assessment for 66 Great Hill as presented?
Motion.
Okay, so the motion is that we are approving the assessment, the new assessment done by the tax assessor Dave Ambrose for 66 Great Hill Road. So the motion was made by Counselor Goode. Is there a second by Counselor Zampano? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Okay. All right, Mr. Morello. Sorry about this, but you're up next. Public Work GPS, or Dan, or Mr. Celentano. Who's taking this one? Oh.
It's not like I don't have nothing to do with it.
Good evening. So the GPS, currently we are with Verizon Wireless. It's around $6,000 a year, $6,000 a year. So typically, we wouldn't be up here for a $5,000 or $6,000 a year bill. But we're looking to switch to a company called Samsara, which asks us to sign up for 4 years at a clip. So because it's crossing budget cycles and the whole amount is tallying up over the bid threshold, that's why we're here. So briefly, Verizon offers your typical vehicle tracking, speed, things of that nature. What we're looking to cross to Samsara, it offers live tracking. So instead of when you look at a GPS and see a breadcrumb, every 10 seconds, it's a live tracking. In addition to that, it also offers salt and liquid tracking. So it's going to tell us what each truck is putting out, where it put it out, give us a tally at the end of the storm that we use 302 ton of salt. So it allows us to also track our stockpile in the barn. Right now, we just have the painted line with the numbers, which is a big topic lately. So with that as well, I deal with this almost annually. I get a call from Board of Ed Administration that a parent is complaining that we didn't salt the parking lot and their kid slipped. I go on our GPS and I screenshot showing the truck was there at 5:48 a.m. Now it's going to show me the live, feed of it, as well as how much salt it put out and where it put it out. So it's even more justification that we did treat the parking lot, Speed, yeah, it's got speed, yeah. It's got speed tracking, so, it asks us.
So when the snowplow knocks over Counselor Mace's mailbox, you can see how fast that truck was going? Is that?
We can, because we get.
Thank you, bros, that would be good.
The truck was going, 60 miles an hour, and nope, it was going 22, but yeah.
That would be good, I guess the person driving that dump truck knocking over my mailbox. Okay, yeah, that's good, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Sometimes it's the young kids in town, they like to, they like to drop their plow for some reason.
So according to your memo, so there's just a slight increase in the cost of this program?
Yeah, so-
Versus what you have now?
Yeah, so it's $800 more per year, and that's a fixed price for 4 years. We spoke with Guilford, who just did the exact same change from Verizon to this, and Wallingford's currently on it, and there was one other local as well, so it seems to be the trend. And it is a 48-month agreement. We increased it to 52 because we wanted it to line up with the budget cycle.
Very good.
Just makes more sense.
Thank you.
Yes. If not, yeah.
It's not going to end mid-year.
No, because then, we'll be up here in a rush in 4 years trying to.
Okay.
The motion is that the town council approve the agreement as presented and authorize the town manager to execute it.
Second.
Motion was made by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Counselor Goode. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Abstain? Okay. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Good to go. Okay. Next item, approval of fiscal year 26-27 budget schedule. So this is, let me just find it in my he couldn't make it tonight, but wanted to participate, so he's will. Oh, he is early. Okay, so budget process. Computer froze up here.
You have to make motions for this?
I didn't pull it up on mine. What is this? 12D.
Schedule first.
One,
I don't have it up.
Page 109.
Excuse me.
Okay. So the budget schedule is here. Okay, so generally in March, we meet in their workshops with our major departments. In the past, we've met with 6 of them: police, fire, public works, library, park rec, and board of ed. But because of the changeover and going to Munis, and it being electronic, the system, so Rory and I had talked about possibly, and we can change this is why this is a draft and before us, is one of the Tuesdays having a tutorial for the town council as to how you're gonna look at the budget, how you can look at the budget in Munis, see all the stuff before we get into the actual budget workshops in April. We can do that and then condense our workshops to the 4 major departments: police, public works, fire, and board of ed. Library and park and rec would just, any questions we have in regards to their budget would come up during budget season, during our budget workshops in April. So we have the public hearing, according to the charter, has to be before April 1st, on or before April 1st. April 1st is a Wednesday. So we are doing the public hearing on March 31st. There are 5 Tuesdays in March this year. So that will be our public hearing. Our regular council meeting will be March 17th. So that leaves us the 3rd, the 10th, and the 24th if you wanted to have, to do these meetings. So as you see in here, it's up to the council. If you don't want to do the Munis tutorial, we can knock that one out. As Rory said, they are giving us hard copy also. And then they'll give us a little cheat sheet as to what to click to go where, that you can work on your own, if you want to do that. And then on the 10th, we would have just, the departments, the 4 departments come in. So it's,
Well, I kind of think we need the tutorial. That's just my personal opinion, just hearing about it at the finance committee meeting, I think we probably need that tutorial.
it's all what people are comfortable with. So.
Madam Mayor?
Yep.
If the next item is to do a kind of brief overview of it, maybe it makes sense to.
You want to do that, and then we can go back.
Wait until they see it, and it'll give them a better idea.
Sure. Yep. Okay. So budget process is item E. This is the very brief tutorial that we got in finance about how Munis works. Do you need the screen down?
Yeah.
So we can come back to the schedule once we see what they're doing here.
You might shut them
And,
all off.
that's better. All right, so what I'll do is I'm just gonna do a brief walkthrough of the budget module for Munis, so you can all see what it looks like. But additionally, in front of you tonight, you should have these large ledger size papers, as well as a document that looks like this. And so I wanted to also give you the paper copies so that you know what you will be receiving on paper as well. So let me log into Munis. This is budget module. And so you would all be set up with read-only accounts like we have for the auditors. All right, and so this is the main screen. I'm just going to bring up my departmental budget. And so if you can remember the budget books, basically, these are the lines that appear in the budget book for my department. And so you have the budget for next fiscal year, the projection for where the department will be on June 30th of this year, the original department request, the manager's budget, and then this is the council approved budget, and then these are the actuals year to date, and then prior year actuals as well. And so for each, this is essentially what appears in the budget book, right? But you generally are provided with line item detail level. And so we'll pull up, this is the professional education, right? So these are each of the itemized costs that you would see in the detail for that line object. This is other purchase services. This is where all of our recruiting costs go and our drug testing for our commercial driver's license employees. And I mean, that's basically it. That's what it looks like on the department level. You'd be given access to Munis generally like the auditors. And so, you know, part of moving this process to Munis has been beneficial to the department heads in that they're able to, they've had a reason to learn how to use some of the other functionality of Munis. And so, for example, we can run an account report on any one of these objects, and you can see each transaction within the account in the current fiscal year, so you can see what those numbers are based on, which is not something that you've had in the past. But because you know, some people may not be comfortable with that, that's why I wanted to make sure we also gave you the paper copies. And so to look at those very quickly, you have one single page on the front, and that is the summary page. So basically the screen you're looking at right now, this is the paper version. And so I think I added a title line at the top, but everything else exports directly out of Munis. And so this is essentially what goes in the budget book, the paper budget book. The stapled two-page item is the detail level summary. So within each line, what are the associated costs? And in this, there were slightly more modifications. The subtitles for each of the lines had to be added manually, and the subtotals. But otherwise, again, it's just
So
straight up.
each one of these, you can just drill down and get what you just add up there with the cost, okay?
Yep.
Are you able to print that out at home if you wanted to, if there was?
You can, so at the top up here, you can see this button that says Excel export.
Yep.
So that'll spit it out into an Excel spreadsheet. But again, what you have on paper here is a slightly modified version of that. We added titles, basically all of the where it says, regular employees and employer share social security contributions, those are titles that we added for legibility for your sake. Previously, all of those line item details are just squished together, not separated by line item.
So is the order of the columns dictated by Munis, or can you switch those around?
Once it's in Excel, you can, if you export it, and we can change it if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Okay.
Only because me personally, if the original budget, which was presented to us, and then it was revised, I like the revised closer to where your new budgets are going, rather than, way over that you have various columns in between on there. Because really, the 2026 revised budget column is the approved.
Correct.
And maybe it should say approved rather than revised.
Yeah, we can change the title.
Well, it is revised.
But isn't the projected,
It is
isn't the
revised because-
projected the one that you?
No,
that
project,
we're expecting it to end at?
well, that's,
Projected is the department head's best estimation of where they expect to land on June 30.
Right, versus revised is,
It-
what
that
was
approved.
a projected, right,
No.
was the approved, right?
it's
I
the
get it.
approved. It's
Right.
what we approved. It's actually the budget that was approved.
The final
Right.
approved budget after the referendum.
Yes and no. For when you did the administrator wage changes,
Right.
Yeah.
that affected the budget. So the revised number here is after, so anything up to today that you've made any budgetary changes this year, the biggest one is the administrator wages. That's why it's a revised budget. That's, the original budget means nothing, you're 100%, I would kill that column. It means nothing to you. The revised budget is anything up to today, any changes that you've made, whether it's the salary adjustments or any other appropriation transfers that you may have made. The revised budget is more gospel than the original budget. So it is revised, again, by transactions that you approved previously, fiscal year to today.
Okay,
So revised is the right title for it.
okay.
But we can change the title headings, we can change the location. Essentially, the plan is, once the entire budget is assembled, right, this is one department, we can export the entire thing. And then we change the column title one time.
Right.
It populates
Yes.
throughout, right?
Right, right. Right.
So
Or
the-
just use this.
Yeah, the goal was, in case people are not comfortable using Munis, we wanted to give you something that was as similar as we can get it to what you're used to seeing in prior years. And so we'll provide paper copies to everybody so that you have them to reference. Additionally, you'll be given access to Munis. And, if you want to do the tutorials, if they're, the budget module itself is, relatively straightforward. There are some of the other functions that are, a little more difficult to figure out on your own.
So I noticed when you went into this, you had to put a code in, which
Yep.
is the department number, the 4-digit. So you know them, we don't know them.
Yeah, we would provide you probably a key. Yeah.
We can give you a list of the funds, list of the departments, list of the objects, so if you want to look at the full-time, you know it's 51,610, you can go that line or something like that if you wanted to. We can provide that for you.
Yeah.
You would, yeah, I mean, that's a necessary thing, otherwise we're gonna be at this, we won't know what we're looking at.
Right.
Yeah, and I, like Anthony said, just get rid of the original budget column, because if it wasn't changed, it's gonna be the revised, the same number as the revised, right?
Correct.
Yeah, the intent was in the budget books, I believe the manager budget is listed.
Yes.
And so that was the intent in leaving it there, but we can absolutely remove it.
Okay, so seeing this information, so we're all gonna get the paper copy, but you can also choose to just do the electronic, copy in this. Does anyone want a munis tutorial here at night? Or if you have any questions, do you want to just do it yourself, come in and
Yeah.
talk to?
We're happy to schedule times individually if that works for you as well.
We're gonna get it in paper too, though, right?
We are getting it in paper, yes.
Good, okay.
Yes. So, from not hearing a lot, my guess is that you don't want the munis tutorial on a Tuesday night. And if you are going to use it, you will schedule your own time to come in and, or work on it on your own at home, just once they set everything up for us. So that's fine. So we will get rid of the munis tutorial. Are you fine with just having the 4 departments listed there come in for? And they're not workshops, they're just for them to come in and give us an overview of their budget, because at this point in time, on March 10th, we will not have budget books yet, so we won't know what the whole budget looks like. They're kind of giving us a little preview to their budget. That's what those meetings are for on there.
Madam Mayor, you mentioned March 24th, but I don't see it on here.
No, it's a date that's available,
Oh.
if we had to use it.
Thank you.
I think we should provide them the opportunity.
Just those 4 departments, or do you want to go back and
No,
add in?
the other ones, I mean, you know,
Library,
that's their moment.
library and park and rec. Okay, so then we would have to go back to, we usually did 3 departments on a night, and we had 2 nights of workshops. So we could do the 3rd and the 10th if you wanted to do them both, you know, instead of the munis tutorial, do 3 of the departments on the 3rd and do 3 on the 10th.
I think a half hour is kind of aggressive, kind of optimistic, to tell you the truth. To give like everybody, police a half hour, public works a half hour, that seems kind of too short, to be honest with you. I think 3 and 3 is a better way to do it. 3 at night.
Yeah, I mean, so if we add the other ones back, yes, we'll, but, so it's just picking the nights. Do you want to do the 3rd and the 10th, or the 10th and the 24th? Or the 3rd and the 20th? I mean, you gotta make some decisions here, guys. Like, or I'll just pick them.
No, so,
and then,
so you're gonna do,
The 3rd and the 10th, before the public hearing, so we have an idea what.
right, okay, all right. So I'll talk to you tomorrow, Rory, and we'll get a schedule for the 3rd and the 10th, 3 departments on each of the nights. Then the 17th is our regular council meeting, and the 31st will be our public hearing. Then after the public hearing, we have our budget workshops. Okay, so, it's scheduled for the 7th. This is after Easter, because Easter will be on the 5th, April 5th. So this is, for North Branford, this is spring break that week. So we have 2 scheduled, the 7th and the 9th. It's, I don't, I don't know why this on April 15th is Town Council and Board of Ed Subcommittee meeting? Is that, I didn't think, that's not a budget. I don't know why that's on here, because that's not a budget meeting. And I didn't think we had scheduled for a Tuesday night, because that committee's on a Wednesday.
Actually,
The 15th is a
the
Wednesday.
15th is a
Oh.
Wednesday.
Oh, okay. So the Board of Ed is, basically, the first week, the week of April 7th, our first, that is school vacation, so we would not, if we had any budget workshops, we would not deal with the Board of Ed that week because they're on school vacation. So it's just how many meetings we want to have on budget workshops. If we wanted to do 2 that week, or if we just wanted to do 1.
So basically, the 7th and the 9th are similar workshops?
They are. Yes, they're 2 scheduled workshops. And on the 7th, if, depending on what we have for questions and everything else, if we decide we don't want the one on the 9th, we can always cancel the one on the 9th.
I know I can't make the one on the 9th, that's what I'm asking the question.
We can have just 1, because usually we had 2, and then we had 1 where we find, the next one was like our regular meeting, but our regular meeting is on the 21st, so we have a little bit of time in there. So we could schedule the 7th and then go to the 14th is a Tuesday, the following week, just so that we have time in case we're asking them to gather information for us. We have to finalize on the 21st, by the 21st. So.
I like that better.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. Okay, Rory, so we're going to do department meetings on March 3rd and March 10th. March 17th is the regular council, March 31st is the public hearing, which is fine. Then our first budget workshop is April 7th. And you can take East Shore Health Department off of there. They don't have to come, and they've presented the last couple years, and so they don't have to come to present.
Okay.
You can take off change it to Tuesday, April 14th as an operational and capital budget town council chamber. That's a budget workshop too on the 14th. And then we'll do the 21st. Our regular council meeting will finalize the budget then. If at one of the other if we feel we have to add another meeting in there, depending on what the budget looks like and what we need, then we can always schedule one. So you can take off Tuesday, April 15th, because it's not April 15th on Tuesday. And this subcommittee meeting doesn't have to be on there. So it's 7th, 14th, 21st for budget workshops.
No, April 9th?
No,
April 9th is gone?
yes. Well, this is we have to vote on it, so.
So we would on the 14th, we would cancel finance and just have a regular
Yeah,
workshop.
yep. Yep. Okay, so do I have a motion to approve the budget schedule as amended?
So moved.
Can you read the amendments so I have them?
Okay, Tuesday, March 3rd,
Got it,
Tuesday, March 10th,
got it.
Tuesday, March 17th is a regular town council meeting.
Got it.
Tuesday, March 31st
Got
is
it.
the public hearing, which
Got
will
it.
be at the high school in the cafeteria.
High school?
Yep.
Okay.
Tuesday, April 7th is a budget workshop in town council chambers. Tuesday, April 14th is a budget workshop in town council chambers.
April 14th, that's new, okay.
And Tuesday, April 21st is budget finalization and a regular town council meeting.
Thank you, Rose.
Okay. So motion was made to approve the calendar. Was there a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Counselor Zampano, seconded by Counselor Mace. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. All right, so we are up to Totucket Valley Park bench request.
So I had a woman named Patrice McCarthy reach out to me. She's a descendant of Joseph and Anna Auger, who sold the property at 290 Branford Road, which is where the Public Works facility is located, and Totucket Valley Park. They sold it to the town, and she is requesting that she be allowed to purchase a bench and have it installed on the property with a plaque that reads, "In memory of Joseph and Anna Auger, former site of Auger Orchards." And so I touched base with Parks and Rec and Public Works to see if there was any objection. The Southern Hazardous Waste and Recycling Committee is part of a program where they get Trex benches for the cling film. And so the recommendation would be that she would purchase one of those if the council is amenable. And then, you know, if Public Works has any specific site considerations in terms of like a concrete pad being installed, anything like that, you know, she would have to agree to those terms as well, so that the town doesn't end up having to do any maintenance on it.
Did she specify what she wanted it to be made of?
No.
We specified.
We specify.
We didn't want it to be wood so that we'd be replacing it, you know, in a few years.
I was just asking in case she wanted to do it out of stone or something out of.
She said she was open to suggestion, and because that's a bench that the town uses elsewhere, that was the suggestion.
And who would dictate where it gets placed?
She had requested down towards the Farm River out of the floodplain. I guess it's a popular fishing spot down there. And so we would work to identify a location with her, and she would assume all the costs of installation.
Okay.
If she agrees to those terms, if she doesn't, then, you know.
Right.
So is this something we vote on?
Yeah, there's a
Rory
motion.
behind the fire burn building?
Yeah.
Yes, it's on page 110 of our packet.
And then it could, at some point, there could be a reason to move it, right? I mean, I'm just saying that, like, I remember when we, I think when we put a rock over there with Floyd on it, I believe. I remember the discussion at the council was, you know, that sometimes when we do these things,
If something else comes-
somewhere down the road, there could be a need to move it into another location or something, just,
Okay,
you know,
right.
I don't know if that'll ever happen, but you
Well,
never
with the
know.
Blueprint Committee, I mean, you never know. There could be a reason, yeah, absolutely.
Danny will take care of that.
I'll remember.
Okay. Okay, all right. So would someone like to move the motion on page?
Motion that the town council authorizes the installation of a bench with a memorial plaque on the property at 290 Forest Road, provided the purchaser meets the requirements set by the acting town manager and his staff.
Second.
Motion was made by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Counselor Goad. Any further discussion? All in
I have a
favor?
quick question.
Yep. Go ahead.
Sorry, I know I'm late. Do we have a bench that's currently available that we're aware of that's coming in from the recycling committee? Is there one that's earmarked, or do we have to wait for one to be purchased?
No,
Or brought to?
she's
She would purchase.
She's purchasing,
Okay.
but the same type that the recycling committee gets. So,
Gotcha, thank you.
okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Can
Okay.
I mention this real quick in the discussion? Like I said, what if she wanted to do it in stone? Put it this way, if it was me and I was putting that landmark up, I'd want to do it with stone, so I wouldn't want it to be plastic. So if she says she wants to do it with stone, we good with that?
I'll be honest with you, Walt. I mean, did you look at the deed? The deed said that the town got that property for $1 and other consideration. I let her she wants to put a bench, if she wants to make it a gold marble bench.
That's what I'm saying.
That's up to her.
Yeah.
She's
So she
paying
wants-
the freight, so.
Like, we're not saying she has to use the
No,
plastic.
I asked her if she had a preference for material. We wanted to make sure that it wasn't something high maintenance, and she was open to suggestions. So I said, we use these benches elsewhere, and she
Okay.
said, that sounds great.
I
But
thought we
I
bought
can
that
absolutely
piece of
let her know.
I know when I go to the cemetery now, a lot of people are buying those benches that they're putting at the cemetery plots, which last forever, you know, they're made out of whatever material they are.
The trucks.
Granite, huh?
Well, there are some stone ones or granite, but you can also, the Trex material is the stuff that you don't have to maintain.
Oh, okay.
The only consideration would be if it does have to be moved at a later date and it's stone, that makes it a little more difficult.
Yeah, right.
Anthony, we didn't purchase that piece of property.
I just worry about, I just worry about if it's that plastic material, just somebody messing with it. The stone's a lot easier, I'm kind of with Walt, the stone's a lot, I think it's an important piece to have on that, and that was very nice of them to do that for the town. And, you know, I'd like to see it stone.
Nobody's gonna hurt
Yeah,
it or
it's gonna
move
be
it
a
or
lot harder
steal it or
investment.
damage
It might be a
it.
little bit more difficult to move, but
That's all good.
if you put it in the right spot, it may never go anywhere, you
Plus the
know.
house.
But would it be her option? Because she was gonna pay for
I mean,
this.
yeah, it should be her option.
I would say
but-
that plastic or stone.
But I would recommend.
Not wood.
No, I would recommend stone to her though,
Okay.
personally, but that's just me.
Concrete as well, stone concrete.
Yeah, something
There's a
solid.
lot of concrete ones out there.
You know, you look at what happened with the snowmobiles over there recently and the Christmas tree, there's a lot of stuff that goes on over there. You put a plastic bench there, who the hell knows what's gonna happen to that area?
Yeah,
Yeah, what's it gonna look like in 30 years?
That's the one.
okay. I'll
Yeah.
convey that to her.
Okay.
Just, get a rock from the quarry. Put a
Okay.
plaque on it.
All right, proposed auger house uses.
So you know, as you're aware, the Board of Ed vacated the Auger House as of November 30th. And so the town has been paying the costs associated with maintaining the house since that time. And so because it is vacant, there's been some interest from departments for potential uses. So I put out an email to all the department heads and requested that if they had an idea for a potential use, they submit it for consideration by the council as of tonight's meeting. And the only real submission we received is from Parks, Recreation, and Senior Center, which is included in your packet. They have a variety of proposed uses for that property.
Does that increase cost anywhere?
Maintaining the property?
Well, the current, where they're currently located, is there a cost there for us?
So the Board of Ed was, you know, paying the utilities on it and, you know, for example, for insurance reasons, we had to get fire monitoring in the property. So
No,
that's been-
I'm talking about, where there's a possibility that Parks and Rec would want to move there.
Mhm.
Right. So where they currently are, is there a cost associated with that?
I don't think they're proposing moving out of Stanley T to Auger House, more using it as a satellite location for different purposes.
They're expanding some of their programs, when you read their proposal. There are things that they've been thinking of doing and just don't have the space at where they are. One of the big things on here is that they do not have a dedicated space for the Potato and Corn Festival committee in the work that they do. Granted, the festival's only 3 days, but there's about 10 months that goes into the whole planning and all of their documents and storage of things. And right now, they, the people that work in the office for the potato and corn, kind of take up space in their office, and it's usually during the busiest times of the year. And this would just put them on site of the Potato and Corn Festival. So that, in my mind, is a very needed space, and since the space is there that we can use. And then they're just expanding, according to what they have here, these are expanding some of their programs and adding some new programs in areas that people have been asking for, and they're utilizing a building that we have. So we're, there probably would be a little bit of additional expense, but we're paying the insurance, we're paying to maintain it, we're paying to heat it now. I mean, there's costs associated with the building just being empty.
Did we ever get the historical status on that building? Didn't we apply for that? I remember when Mike Duty was
I think
here.
we did apply for it.
Yeah, there was some, I don't know if it ever came through, or if it was denied or approved. I was just curious, because it would be.
Wouldn't be, right?
Because I remember when the Board of Ed was gonna go in there, we had questioned, are any of the modifications they make, will it have any impact on that, application we put through? That's how I recall. We should find out if we ever got
I'll
that
look into
status,
that.
because that's important too. Not that it matters, but it, we should know if we got it or not.
So would all of that expense go into their budget, then the maintenance, or would it still be part of the overall town budget?
Well, it'll be interesting to see what the budget looks like this year, because they have this consolidated cost center, and I'm not really sure what's getting taken out of certain budgets and putting into the consolidated
That's right, I forgot
costs.
about that part.
So if it's, utilities and whatever, it might already be not part of their budget or part of anyone's budget. It's gonna be the first time we see this in the budget, so there probably will be some additional costs, but then there's also the opportunity on the programs that they run, because if they charge a fee for some of the programs that they run there, they may be taking in income also, depending on what types of programs they run out of there, so.
So those consolidated accounts as they come through, will we be able to drill down on those and say, okay, here's this big account. We drill down and we say, okay, but this piece goes over to here, this piece goes over to here. Will we be able to identify that?
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about how we're gonna handle that this year. Part of the issue is that, when things get moved around, your actuals don't necessarily reflect that, right? Because if you're budgeting it in a new place, Department 4100 is a consolidated cost center. There's no history for it because it's new as of last year. So one of the documents that you were given tonight, the one with the narrative on it, the idea is to replace that front page of the paper budget book that had this information that you see on the front. The second page of that has a space for details on revenues and expenses. To the extent possible, one thing that Munis does that the prior process did not is you'll see columns labeled justification and notes. And so that will give you, the idea is to hopefully answer some of your questions before you ask them by providing documentation on why a number went up or down, et cetera. For more detailed things like 4100, because that is going to be pulling from all over the budget to consolidate them into that department. The hope is to do a more detailed explanation on this sheet, because there will not be actual data. And as Anthony's been saying during the financial reports all this year, we can't effectively consolidate the department until April 1st when we can do transfers.
What kind of things are gonna go into that?
So it's largely like utilities, the costs of operating the facilities.
Because what brings to mind is the police department, because that's an anomaly.
Yeah, and we've been discussing that with the police commission. I don't have an answer on how exactly we'll handle it, but they were included in the consolidation. We can break things back out and return them to where they came from. But, yeah, it's, the idea is if electricity costs increase 30%, number one, that shows as an increase in the department. And of course, it is a cost associated with running the department, but it's outside of their control. And so you would see in the electric lines in the consolidated cost center that cost increase reflected, but it doesn't show that the department is increasing. It's just a
But
cost of
how
doing
would,
business.
how would we, if that, so I'm just envisioning this, we have an account, let's say it's $100,000 in it, right? How do we, when we're trying to review the budget, how would we know if that's the right number or not? What's the majority? Is it the majority of it, to these departments, to this department, to this? You know what I mean, Roy? It's like, how would we, how do we view that?
So, within the items in that consolidated cost center, again, if you look at the spreadsheets here, the last 3 digits of all of these lines are 0, 0, 0. What Munis allows you to do, that's the location code string. And so we've assigned codes to each building in town, and even like some of the parks in town.
Because I guess, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but like, I'm thinking like, to look at this year versus last year.
You aren't gonna be able to do it.
But how, well, there has to be, because if last year last year you spent 10,000 on your utilities, and, what's the budget this year? I mean, I don't know is it 12,000, is it 15,000?
Well, we'll have to look in two different,
You
the
know what I
problem
mean?
is that you won't have, because the budget's in the new format, you won't have, you'll have the
Pull it back
actual.
We'll pull it up and show you.
I'm just trying to understand it, that's all why I'm asking.
Confusing as all get out.
Check your phone.
Is this still with the Auger House? Or you just went off tangent here into budget?
Just went off,
Is this
went off and never,
is this
never
what happens
landed.
when you come early to a meeting?
Hope you're happy, Tom.
We still have the all-important topic of penny shortage.
Yeah. $12 worth.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
And the tutorial afterwards.
It's really that critical, Tom, that you need to see
In
this?
this meeting.
Really?
All right, so what you have here is the 4,100 cost consolidated center for the library, facility maintenance, and 106, I believe, is Smith Library. So if you remember last year's budget time, it was to talk about what's it cost you to run each library? Do we close one? Do we have one? By using those last 3 digits, you can identify all the costs with Smith, all the costs with Atwater.
Okay.
So if you want, so to Rose's point, last year, you had to go 40, you had to go 101, 45, 4501 facility maintenance. So if you look in 2 places, you look at the original department is 4501. So if you went in, let's just do that. So if we did, this is last year now. 4, 5,
You better start memorizing all these account numbers, you know, they're 20 characters long and.
I heard we were gonna get a cheat sheet.
We are. So last year, for a year, don't worry. So last year, library facility maintenance, one number in the library department. So we spent $9,791
For
for
both
both libraries last year because it wasn't separated.
Right.
Now, to go back to Rose's point, you would need to look at each one with the code of 106 on the end and the consolidated and the 107 on the end. So it's going to be a little bit of a, this first couple of years till we get everything into one playing field, it's going to be a little bit confusing. But the information is there. So if you ever decide down the road, this was a mistake, let's go back the old way. So we can extract all the costs that were library, 54,301, and put them back into one spot. So it's recreatable if this ends up being a flop. I mean, there's a lot of good features to it. Again, the biggest one is the last 3-digit code, identifying our buildings, which is something we didn't have previously without a lot of, tearing apart the bills and saying, okay, how much did North Farms Park cost us last year? We can get the water bill at North Farms Park, we can get the electric bill at North Farms Park, we can get all these different things separated by location, which is beneficial. So to go back to your first question, it's there, you just gotta know how to get it.
Okay.
And we're gonna do our best to present it to you in a way that's followable without having to do all of this.
All right, good luck. Considering, because you just started this process, so, like a month ago or a couple weeks ago. So can't wait for budget season. All right, so we don't have to vote on anything for Auger House, right? You can just, unless people are really against using the Auger House for anything in any town department, I think Rory can just go ahead and talk to your department, reassign, and we don't have to vote on it, do we? I mean, there was nothing in the packet to vote.
Well,
So
because I didn't know,
it would only be if we're really opposed to using it.
yeah.
Is anyone really opposed to using the Auger House, or just leaving it empty?
Well, I wanna know if it's a historical
Dean, is the
building
water
or
out of
not.
that thing?
Yeah, I'm trying to check the.
Water been drained out of the system?
It's currently heated, so yeah, the water's still there, everything's operating.
It's a well, too.
Oh,
and
sorry,
it-
you're talking about the well water.
No, I'm talking, yeah, well, if it's not.
They didn't winterize the
I would say
building.
it'd probably be a good idea to winterize it, right? And
Yeah, I think we have the heat on very low there. Just-
Well, because the Board of Ed was in it up and through November, so they
Yeah,
didn't winterize the building, they just turned the heat down and,
yeah, I think we were kind of waiting to see what's gonna go on with it, which it sounds like we got our answer, so.
okay. Next item is transfer of town-owned property at 672 Totucket Road.
So you'll recall, several months ago, the council approved the sale of this property after a bid process.
Yep.
All of the legal due diligence is done, and so the attorneys requested that we put it before you tonight to authorize me to execute the deed.
You'd authorize Mr. Downs to execute the deed, but because he's no longer here, we have to do a new resolution authorizing Rory.
Okay.
to do it. So you have the resolution, we read it.
It's, well,
There's
a suggested motion in our packet.
There is a resolution that was handed out to you tonight, we got it this morning, so it's in your packet.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, in the handouts.
So this will be, this is what you want in the minutes. for the motion.
Resolution.
Yeah,
That's
not,
correct, yes.
not the original
Not the
motion.
suggested motion.
Got it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So do I have a motion to move the resolution that's at our desk tonight? It's not the motion that's in the packet. It's this in our packet.
Motion.
Okay. Second.
Okay. Motion to move the resolution as presented was made by Counselor Goad, seconded by Counselor Diamond. Any discussion?
Yeah, I have a question. Why is it a quitclaim deed?
Why is it a quitclaim deed?
It's gonna be a warranty deed?
What's our benefit as the town to do it by quitclaim deed? We're selling the property.
Okay. They didn't ask for that, I take it. Okay, I'm just kinda curious.
Yeah, they did not. We told them we were providing a quitclaim deed because of the nature of the history of it, so.
And they accepted that? No warranty deed?
Correct.
Good for you. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get a double cheeseburger that way.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. All right, the big topic of the night, penny shortage in July tax payments.
Oh, no.
Well, everybody, it chuckles, but it's an interesting thing, because if a guy comes in with a bill of $1 or $2, you can't say to him, give me $1, like other stores are doing, they're rounding down, rounding up. So if you say you have $1 or $2, and you take $1, you have 2 cents lingering out there. So for every transaction, and I forget the exact number that Jerry had provided, how many transactions there were in cash.
293.
There potentially could be
296.
pennies back and forth that are gonna be written off, and so there might be a new phenomenon, short and over on the cash draw. It's an interesting thing. We can't overcharge people. So if it's $1.08, we can't say give me $1.10, we'll call it even. So it's gonna be a little bit of a challenge. And Penny said, Rose said she had a bunch of pennies she was gonna bring in, because Jerry's running out of pennies.
Several town employees have brought in their pennies, which I
Yeah.
think is fun.
It's crazy, because the bank's not giving anymore. The bank, you can't get a penny from the bank anymore. It's crazy. The other issue that's interesting on the tax bills, so the question is, when we put tax bills out now, do we put wording on there that says you must pay with exact change or pay by check? Because we're not gonna have change to give you. So we're waiting for guidance from both the National GFOA, even Michelle is waiting for guidance from her auditing group to say what the best practice is. I mean, you can't be like you're in Stop and Shop where you round up, round down. You're talking about, exact things with tax bills. So that's part one. Part two is, you might have seen something that the post office is changing their practice on postmarks, where typically if you put a thing in the mail today, it goes to the center, it gets the postmark today, and that's counted as the Bible. That's the day you mailed the bill. So if it's on the 31st of July and you postmark it 31st of July, it counts as being on time. What they're proposing doing now is they won't get postmarked till it gets to the processing center, which could be 2 days from now. So you may put the thing in the mail July 31st, it may not get postmarked till August 2nd. Guess what? Now you're late. The guy says, I put it in the post office on July 31st. It could be a problem. So we're gonna try to get the word out, don't wait until the last minute. Maybe 3 or 4 days before the end of the billing period, put your bill in the mail so that it's postmarked in time, so you don't avoid this whole situation where if it's postmarked is delayed, even though you made a good faith effort to pay on time, we go by the postmark at gospel, and it's gonna show August 2nd, and sorry, sir, you're late, and they're gonna be.
I think they gave themselves 5 days, first-class mail, to get postmarked.
Yeah, that's crazy though, because.
I know, you don't have to tell me.
Yeah, it's gonna be potentially another issue, where it's gonna be a challenge.
So does that mean Uncle Sam won't be down in New Haven?
Yeah,
No, they don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
They used to do that.
April 15th, yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, that postmark is very, very scary that they're doing.
Yeah.
Because when it goes to the plan, it just sits there.
Yeah, it's.
So
But what you can do is when you go to the post office, if you already have your stamp, you could just give it to the clerk, say, could you postmark this now? And then they have a stamp, they could just stamp it on that date. So you could do that, they can do that too.
Sure.
Anthony, as far as the taxes, is there any law that says you have to accept cash? Can you just do?
Cash is the legal tender of the land, so you almost have to. I don't think that's the.
It's an interesting issue that's raised here because municipalities, the tax collectors cannot accept less as payment in full.
Right.
So, you know, if I have a.
Or I can't charge you more.
They can't, yeah, the tax bill is what it is, and that's why they have no ability to you can't negotiate your property taxes by showing up at the tax collector. So. I think
I'm just wondering
This is
if,
gonna
like-
require some state legislation, I think, to correct the penny issue.
Yeah.
Tax bills.
I didn't know if you could only, like, no longer accepting cash, we're only gonna accept check, money order,
Yeah.
you know, credit card, whatever.
I mean, if you pay through your bill paying through your bank, you can set up on your bill pay, and it goes out on time, you can set the time, everything else. I think people should kind of steer it towards that way, but some people don't use bill pay, so it's kind of, you gotta take cash. I think you can't deny taking cash.
I wonder what the average age of people paying in cash is. For me, I think of older people that have done that for years, which would make me think of the money order.
Yeah, but there's also people that come in, they'll pay their whole house tax bill in 20s. You know, thousands of dollars that they accumulated, I'm not sure how, but they've accumulated the money and they chose to pay with cash. So we're obligated to take the money, and it's not so much the tax bill, because that usually rounds it, you know, an even number, it's interest. When you're late and you accrue interest, that is all over the board. So it could be 7 cents, 8 cents, 9 cents, what do? You can't charge more, you can't take less. It's craziness. Another wrinkle in life.
So how many times does that happen in the
Well,
course of the year, you think?
what was the number you said?
296.
296 people paid in cash. So potentially,
And they were, total,
in that last billing period.
yeah.
A lot of people pay in check, a lot of people pay online. There's multiple ways you could pay. If you have an escrow, obviously, for your house taxes, that's cleaner. Car taxes, you're paying, you know, on your own kind of thing. But it's just another, like the whole postmark thing is an unforeseen repercussion, and you know, reaction that's gonna happen based on this one decision that was made. It's kind of.
They're ruining the postal service.
So you need a jar of pennies. You need a big
Yeah.
jar of pennies.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's right. So if you have pennies, in all seriousness, she bring them in. She'll trade them in for you. I also, I'm on the National Registry, and that house is not on the National Registry.
So evidently it never made it.
530 Foxen Road, Old Post Road, 1795 Middletown, Maltby Stevens.
I'll check with the State Historic Preservation Office too to see if they have anything, but.
I know that we applied, I just,
There was
I
a
don't
plaque on the
remember
front of it, I
hearing.
thought, too.
I never remember hearing whether it was approved or not.
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't.
Guess not.
Okay, so we don't have to take any action, you just wanted to inform us of the penny shortage in July tax bill, what the issues could be.
Yeah, it's coming.
So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna attempt to say?
We're gonna try to put on the
or,
tax bill saying, please pay with exact change if at all
Okay.
possible. And then we have to make sure, because the problem too is, you come in and you pay 2 cents more, I pay 2 cents less. At the end of the day, the draw is balanced, but they have to fix your bill. And if they don't fix your bill, you're gonna get banged with a $2 late charge next month,
Right.
and you're like, wait, I paid, what are you talking about? So there's implications, and it's gonna be, every transaction needs to be looked at and say, okay, Tom was short two pennies, let's put pennies in there for him, Anthony was over 2 pennies. It's just an additional piece of craziness.
We want to add the Totalka Times looking for pennies. Just people
Yeah.
come down with pennies and give them cash for it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, you need a jar of pennies.
That's right. My card plane money. Okay. Contingency appropriations, next
Contingency
item.
appropriation, there was some work that is proposed to be done at the former police station by the folks from the food pantry. They're putting in some additional freezers, need some additional electrical outlets. And this came before the finance committee, and then proposal was to bring it before the council to use that contingency appropriation to get this done.
So the reason it came before us is because it's still our building and they are paying to rent the building. They did some electrical work there without consulting the landlord, and had some little issues with some heat. So now they bought some freezers that they want to put there, but they were told they had to, before they install them, they had to have Franny come over and look at the building and everything. We are paying it was brought forward to finance about the town doing the electrical work so that we know that it's done correctly in the building for the appliances, for the freezers that they are installing in there. So that's why it's here in.
So they want us to pay for the whole wiring upgrade?
It's for one section, and Franny wants to make sure that it's done correctly because that building, with all of the additions, that building has 4 furnaces in it. It's not just one, and last time something happened, one of the furnaces went out and there was heat issue and stuff. So Franny wanted us to do the work. So he went and got a quote from one of the contractors that's on his bid list. And this was the quote.
Are they triple net?
No, it's just, it's a very inexpensive blue. We had said at the time that we did the lease, we were gonna look at what the expenses were in the lease in, like, after they were there for a year, year and a half, through all the seasons, to see once, to make an adjustment on there, because they're paying utilities and stuff. So to see once about wrapping it all into one expense on there. So we aren't at that point yet. So do I have a motion here?
Make the motion that the town manager is hereby authorized to appropriate from the reserve for contingency. The account is listed for the electrical work at 260 Forest Road for $2,550.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Counselor Diamond, second by Counselor Zampano. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Okay, financial report.
Financial report, a couple of things I want to point out to you. On the top revenue section, you'll notice the tax collection line appears to be lagging from last year, 95.9 last year, 92.6 this year. I did research this, and what happened was we had a couple of big escrow checks, $2.2 million, that came in on February 2nd this year, and they probably came in January last year. And when you add that $2.2 million in, you're actually at 96.91%. You're actually ahead of last year. Just a matter of the timing, the way those big checks came in. Reminder that wetlands is that rebate of that permit. That's why that's showing as a negative in the revenue section. On the expense side, again, we keep beating up that consolidated cost center. And if that wasn't bad enough, we're making a second one in 4,300, just because we'd like to confuse things even more. And the rest of the departments are not out of whack. Again, total line 61% spent compared to 60% last year. No other remarkable comments. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to get the answer for you.
Okay. All right, tax refunds.
I move that we approve the tax refunds as listed on page 126 of our packet.
Second.
Motion was made by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Counselor Goad. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes. Okay, next item is liaisons to boards and commissions. I forgot to do this last month, so let me just pull up my little sheet here. Okay, so some of them are actual appointments by the council, which is pension. We already took care of this. Pension is Jeff and myself. The Blueprint Committee, that was appointed by the council. That was Tom Zampano. There is an opening on Blueprint Committee. Public Safety Communication is also an appointment by the council. It's Marie Diamond, and it was Ron, but now that he has resigned, so there is an opening on Public Safety Commission. Finance Committee is myself, Deputy Mayor McMillan, Tom Zampano, and Marie Diamond. Board of Ed liaison is myself. EDC is Craig Miller. Park and Recreation is myself. Police Commission is Marie Diamond and Walt Goad. Fire Commission, Tom Zampano and Craig Miller. Planning and Zoning, Bob Whitworth. Inland Wetlands is Bob Whitworth. And Town Council, Board of Ed Communication Committee is myself, Jeff, Marie Diamond, and Craig Miller. So those are appointments and committee members as of right now. If anyone wants to go on, is interested in going on any other commission or the two, or boards or commissions, and the two opening is public safety and blueprint, just let me know and we can take care of that. Okay, citizen statements. I forgot to read this under the first one, so this was submitted to be read into the record tonight. This is from Bill Savastano. Once again, I would like to ask the town council to consider a tax freeze for our those seniors that are 75 years of age and that have lived in their homes for 20 years or more. The parameters can be negotiated as well as the freeze. 75% of last year's tax bill. This freeze is necessary because our seniors' COLA cannot keep up with what's been happening with the economy as well as the spending in our town. Other surrounding towns have adopted a freeze and Branford is looking at it right now. This freeze can be amended to the present tax relief for seniors ordinance. I call attention to all you seniors listening in, send your appeals, concerns into the town council before the budget season. An approximate estimate of residents taking advantage of this, 100 residents at $300, it equals $30,000. Our seniors deserve this tax freeze. Thank you, Bill Savastano, Sunnyside Drive in Northford. I just read this as he presented this. I do not know where he got the dollar information from. So I'm not sure what that refers to, but that is what was in his email.
I'd kind of like to look into this here, because maybe there is some relief that.
I've already started conversations with Dave Ambrose, and he's pulling some information together for the council as to what types of programs and it'll be presented during budget season for us to consider.
A couple years ago, when I was on the town council, I started looking into something. I did do some interviews. And I wanted to, again, do some interviews with, some of the other towns, neighboring towns. And I know Dave Ambrose is looking at it, but I'd like to look at it myself as well.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Fine.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Cliff?
Good evening, Cliff Potter, Northford. I'll keep my things short. Is the charter officially on hold now? Did we get an official ruling? I know there was some research that was done. And I'm only asking because I think you guys are going to be buried. You're going to have to put pictures of yourselves on your refrigerators during budget time so your family knows what you look like. And I appreciate that. I really do. I don't think people realize. And again, if there's problems, where are the people? I mean, knock that off your to-do list because your to-do list is too big to do. The budget's a tough season. It's always tough on you guys. And you get hit from the people that want and the people that have. And it's very tedious and you got new people that haven't done it yet. So again, you're going to have new issues. God bless you. Work through it. We support you here from the trenches here. I never heard any talk about a new town manager. Is that in the works?
It is.
Okay.
Yep,
I mean, it was nothing, there's nothing.
Yeah, no,
even-
the job is posted on the town website, plus in several,
I mean, he's doing a good job. I'm not looking to push him out of his chair.
he's the interim.
But we hadn't
town
heard
manager.
anything.
Yep, so it is happening right now.
And unfortunately, we have to do everything we need to do to keep that food bank going. It's a shame that we think we live in a good town, but there's people that don't have it, what they need. If you go by that parking lot on the pickup day, how can I say it? It's disheartening. but rewarding to see what Rita's doing with her crew, and, and because of all the changes, it can't be just North Branford anymore, am I right, Rose? If somebody from East Haven needs food, they can go to North Branford? Is that-
Because they get food from Connecticut Food Share.
Yeah.
So, so they have to let anyone come in, but the difference is the people from out of town only get items that come from Connecticut Food Share.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Whereas the residents of North Branford, they are open to all of the
Okay,
items that are
I
donated.
always feel you take care of your own.
So they do, and so they do get a much larger selection and they get
Okay,
more stuff.
well, that's good to know. I mean, again, I really didn't feel the charter's in trouble. And you guys don't need more work. You're gonna have busy times, and I appreciate, look what time it is. Walter, I try to keep it slow, short. You guys give a lot of time. And I don't think our citizens appreciate it as much as I do. But boy, you charge them $1 more in taxes, and they were all set to hang you all last year, and I hated that. The crap I saw on Facebook was not necessary, not needed, and very disrespectful. And if my dad was alive and I posted something like that, I wouldn't be sitting down for a week. I'm old school. So thank you, guys, and good luck with budget season.
Okay, thank you.
And you think, I mean, Franny's guys, they put in long hours. You're gonna make them look like they went on vacation with the hours you're gonna put in. And they got paid, you're not. I won't rub that in.
Thanks, Cliff.
All right, thank you. Any other public comment? Okay. Then, do I hear a motion to go into executive session and include the interim town manager, the town attorney, and council members?
I'll make the motion pursuant to CGS-1-206D to discuss possible sale of real property as publicity regarding such site and sales could adversely impact the price of such sale. Can we do both, or we just have to do one?
Technically, you should do two separate ones.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Going into executive session.